Good evening, fight fans. Welcome to the beautiful Oceanside Revere in downtown Revere, Massachusetts. Welcome to the Zone Boxing, and welcome to CES Boxing presents Halloween Knockout. It's the spooky season, Ray. We're just a week away from Halloween, the trick-or-treating, the candy, the festivities. But tonight, my broadcast partner, Sucre Ray Oliveira, and myself, Michael Parenti, are bringing you action inside the ring, which could sometimes get scary as well. Now, Ray, tonight is a big night for a number of reasons. CES Boxing for many years, in fact for many decades, has been the premier promotion in the Northeast, bringing stars like Hammer and Hank Lundy, Vinny Paz, Jermaine the Technician Ortiz to your television screens. And now tonight, I think, could be years from now looked at as the beginning of the new generation of CES talent. Tonight, 3 new acquisitions to the CES roster are making their promotional debut, including our headliner, Speedy Rashidi Ellis, who you see right here on your screen. Also, Mike Fontanez from Nashua, New Hampshire, the undefeated super welterweight. And the young up-and-coming welterweight, Joe Bush from Melrose, Massachusetts. Ray, this is a new generation here. I think this entire region is up for grabs in terms of talent. The fans want to see somebody new make their claim in New England, and it could be Rashidi Ellis here who's headlining tonight.
Exactly. I've been waiting to see Rashidi. I've been hearing about him, watching him in the gym when he was a little guy there. Now he's here back in New England to perform and show everybody that why he's Rashidi Ellis, Speedy.
Now, if you haven't been familiar with Rashidi Ellis, he comes in tonight at 24-1. He's going to be headlining tonight in an 8-round super welterweight bout against Brian Damian Chavez. You take a look at the card rundown tonight. We'll go through it super quick here, Ray. Also, Francis Hogan, Frank the Tank Hogan from Massachusetts, puts his 17-0 record on the line against the very experienced Elvin Ayala, which we can talk a little bit more about later on. Tommy Hyde returning to New England for just the second time. He's 9-0. He takes on Arrow Schwartz from Germany. You've also got Matt the Mantis Doherty, the Salem, Massachusetts veteran, going for milestone win number 10 against Eric Palmer. The previously mentioned Michael Fontanez in the middleweight division taking on Bruno Leonardo Romay, and Joe Bush taking on Keenan Raymond. That's a 4-round bout. And we have Tevin Regis, the knockout artist, lightweight sensation, taking on Jason Verdugo. That's going to be our opening bout tonight here on The Zone. But again, Ray, going back to this reincarnation of CES Boxing, this all started with Team Combat League. If you're not familiar with Team Combat League, that's the one-on-one individual team boxing format that took boxing by storm in April and May. CES Boxing promoter and president Jimmy Birchfield Sr. was the president of the new Boston Butchers team for TCL Season 2. So Jimmy Birchfield went out, brought a bunch of fighters on board. Bush was one of them, Rashidi Ellis was one of them, and Mike Fontanez was one of them. And those TCL fighters found a little bit about with the TLC from Jimmy Birchfield to know what it's like to work with a promoter of that stature. And the minute that the TCL season was done, Ray, they came to Jimmy Birchfield and says, we want to sign with you. We want to bring our future in your hands. And Ray, you know what that's about, having worked with Jimmy for years.
They know if they want to fight, they want real fights, they want to be known, they know where to come, and that's CES.
Yep. And Rashidi Ellis is right there on the doorstep of a potential big opportunity. We'll get into a little bit more about his story later on tonight, but he had some opportunities, had some setbacks, and now the entire CES team feels that he is just a couple of fights away from a potential world title bout that could be looming on the horizon. And you have Mike Fontanez, who has kind of bounced around in New England for the early stage of his career, wants something more stable, wants to fight for a title by the end of the year, and wants to get into the rankings. And again, there's no better place to do that in the Northeast than with CES Boxing, and that's why you're seeing this new generation. We talked about some of the former stars. We talked about the Hank Lundys. Yep. Peter Manfredo Jr., the pride of Providence from Contender fame, another fighter who climbed the ranks here in CES. But now there's a call for a next generation of talent, and I think CES has done a great job. It's almost like an off-season spending spree as you see in the NBA or Major League Baseball. They came in here and they brought in these very talented free agents. I'm excited to see them all tonight.
I'm definitely excited. It's about time that they show up. Enough talking. Show us what you can do in that ring, and we'll go from there.
And enough talking from us. We're ready to get started with the action. Let's send it up to our ring announcer, Patrick Sullivan, who's going to introduce the first fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Oceanside Event Center here in Revere, Massachusetts, as CES Boxing presents Halloween Knockout live on The Zone. Let's get the action started and welcome the first fighter to the ring, Jason Verdugo.
All right, coming in from Providence, Rhode Island is Jason Verdugo. with a record of 0-1 as a pro boxer, but that does not even begin to tell the story of Yeson Verdugo. Ray, you and I saw him in April of 2023. At that time, he was a well-accomplished Muay Thai fighter and kickboxer at the professional level, brought a lot of experience into the ring, and had a real tough bout against Jeffrey Gonzalez, who at the time was 5-0, himself an accomplished amateur fighter, and he went 3 hard rounds before getting stopped in that fight. But I remember watching Yeson that night, Ray, and just being impressed with the toughness and some of the awkwardness that kept Gonzalez at bay for a couple rounds.
See, he was in the fight for a little while. You know, in 3 rounds there, it was up and down fight, and he was doing real good until that final round where he felt that, you know, Boston took over there. Today's a good chance for him to see what he can show more of his talent.
Now, as you know, Ray, it's an entirely different animal, the Muay Thai, MMA, kickboxing. I like to think that fighting is fighting, and fighters just go in there and fight, but there have to be some nuances. So when you see somebody like a Verdugo or an MMA fighter who's making the transition, what's the first thing you look for to judge his boxing ability?
I want to see if he squares up. A lot of Muay Thai fighters square up, MMA square up. I want to see if he can keep his boxing stance, because as soon as you square up, that's when the boxer's going to jump right on you.
And here is Verdugo slowly but surely making his way into the ring, getting ready for his first fight in Massachusetts, at least at the boxing level.
And his opponent, Tevin Regis.
And here comes Tevin Regis now, a totally different perspective here, Ray. 29 years of age, kind of reaching that point in his career, or really from an age perspective where you want to start making a big push. But Tevin Regis comes in 4-0, 3 knockouts. He recently fought September 7th in Massachusetts, got a knockout victory. Had a little bit of an experience with TCL. It didn't go as well for him, but this is really the format he's made for. What do you remember most about Tevin, and what stood out to you the most about him last time we saw him?
You know, one thing probably that he liked, which I always go against, is he came out throwing nothing but power. Work your opponent. You're in there with a Muay Thai kickboxer. Work him. Make him get to those later rounds, and your boxing skills will show up even more. Just don't go there looking for a knockout, but when you look for it, it doesn't come.
And that could be why this fight against Verdugo maybe could be with the doctor ordered, because Verdugo's tough. He's going to hang in there. He's not the kind of guy that you can beat with one punch. And what you want to see, Ray, is for him to set it up.
Yeah, you know, these boxers got to realize, and the guys with amateur background, you know, do you want a knockout? Yeah, but don't look for it. Make it happen. At least get 2-3 rounds in there, outwork the guy, and then get him out. When you look for it, that's when you look sloppy.
All right, we're just about ready for the first bout of the night. Let's send it back to Pat Sullivan.
This first bout of the evening is 4 rounds in the junior welterweight division. Let's meet tonight's combatants. First in the blue corner, representing Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Yesterday he weighed in at 145 pounds for his second professional boxing bout. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Yeson Verdugo. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, hailing from nearby Dorchester, Massachusetts, with a professional record of 4 wins, no losses, and 3 wins by knockout. He weighed in at 140 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, Tevin the Hitman Regis!
All right, we're just about ready for the opening bell here. This 4-round premier bout here on DAZN Boxing.
4 rounds in the junior welterweight division.
Once again, you're watching Halloween Knockout. Michael Parenti joined by Sucre, Ray Oliveira. We thank you for being back in the booth with us, and for all of us, and for all of you watching on DAZN, thank you for chiming in tonight and seeing what CES has to offer. And we're going to talk a lot about it tonight, Ray. We're going to harp on the importance of CES boxing, not only in New England, but in the boxing industry, because for some of you watching here tonight on DAZN, this may be the first time you're seeing a CES boxing product. We want to give it the lowdown about what it's all about and what it's meant and what promoter Jimmy Birchfield has meant to this sport for some time. And so tonight you're seeing here at the Oceanside a packed house. It's an intimate crowd here at this venue.
Is.
I like this kind of a venue.
No, definitely.
All right, Tevin Regis in the white trunks taking on Yeson Verdugo in the black and red. scheduled for 4 rounds.
Like, oh, Travis, he's coming out. The first time I saw him, he came out rushing everything right here. He's very patient. He's working.
He probably wants to get a feel for what Verdugo offers. Knowing he's not a traditional boxer, it takes a nice little left hand there from Farmer, or for Regis rather.
He's very patient. Caught him with that left hook. He didn't jump on him real quick. He's patient and wants to get some rounds. You can tell.
Verdugo's punches come from different angles, but from a footwork standpoint, it certainly looks more like a boxer than others have in this format, at
So
least.
far, it's the first round. 1 minute. Let's see when it gets into the second round.
Oh, big right hand by Regis knocks Verdugo to the canvas.
Beautiful right hand right over that left jab.
Referee making the count. I'm not sure if Verdugo's going to make it back to his feet, and that's going to do it. So Tevin Regis, my apologies,
yes.
the hitman adds another one to his resume. Big overhand right, Ray. We'll get a look at the replay in a minute, but you saw exactly what set it up. He kind of feigned with the left and just came overhand with the right.
Yeah, he came out with that jab, left hook. He was pawing with that, and as soon as he feinted, he came right over that right hand, as you can see right here in the replay.
Here we go, Ray. Take us through it.
He's over there, he's waiting, feint.
There it is.
That jab right over that right hand, that 1-2 down the middle. I tell fights all the time, the best punch in a boxing match is the 1-2.
Now, people will say, Ray, that was a one-punch knockout, but that's different than hunting for a knockout. That was set up purposely.
He set up everything with that jab. That jab was working on everything, feinting the hook, landing the hook, and then, your opponent is in fear of that jab, and suddenly here comes that right hand, boom.
You see in Tevin Regis' corner Mark Agaro, who was the head coach of the Boston Butchers in Team Combat League. So we're going to mention that throughout the night as well. A lot of connections to the TCL Season 2 format and CES boxing in the show you're going to see here tonight. Also in the corner with the ace of Verdugo in the red vest there is Mr. Providence, Vladimir Biasi.
Yes, Mr.
Long-time
Biasi.
stablemate at CES Boxing. So good to see him as well here in the corner. And a great just a great performance there by Tevin Regis. Ray, the biggest thing I think was he was patient.
He was real patient, He caught the jab, set up everything, but like I said earlier, that left hook landed, and he didn't jump on him. He was patient enough to wait and let it come. And what came was that big right hand. That one right hand he threw was the one that landed and the one that ended the fight.
And we'll see what 2024, or at least the rest of it, has in store for Tevin Regis. Still a lot of time left and a lot of opportunities to hop on some CES cards. He also is one of the newest signees to the roster, signing a year ago. So again, you're talking about that young talent that we mentioned. Also would be remiss if we didn't mention Tevin Regis. And with that said, we're going to send it back to the center of the ring with our announcer, Pat Sullivan, who has the particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner by first round knockout at 1 minute and 3 seconds into the match, Tevin the Hitman Regis!
Once again, Tevin Regis, 1 minute and 3 seconds. Let's send it up to Pat Sullivan.
First round knockout, making your way back in here to the squared circle. Your second knockout in the last couple of months, but this was an important one. You're fighting so close to home here in Dorchester. What's going on right now? How are you feeling?
I appreciate everyone for coming out. I appreciate my coaches with me through camp. I appreciate my opponent. Much respect for sure. And I love being here for sure. Respect to Jimmy Birchfield and CES.
Now, Tevin, right before that fight happened, your promoter, Jimmy Birchfield, right behind you, said that you look more confident than ever walking into that ring. Why were you so comfortable today in the ring?
When it's time to handle business, it's time to handle business. For sure, that's all it is.
Any shout out to your Dorchester natives who came out here to watch you tonight?
Most definitely. Shout out to my girls. Shout out to my co-workers. I appreciate the support. Shout out to all my people that came. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't appreciate you guys enough.
Now, you know what, Tev? This is Halloween weekend, right? And your fans came out here. They could have been anywhere else partying. They could have been trick-or-treating. They could have been anywhere dressed in costumes, but they're here for tonight for you. That's some love, isn't it?
Most definitely. I love you guys. Keep supporting. The love goes in and out the same way. I love you guys for sure. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner by first round knockout, Tevin Regis!
Well, there it is. Again, Regis thanking the crowd that came out to see him tonight. A very bright future, Ray, for Tevin Regis. and I'm looking forward to seeing more of him in 2024. And again, just speaks to the depth of the CES roster. When you look at so many fighters here who are undefeated, you've got Fontanez, Angel Gonzalez, Amon Lee, Amelia Moore, who will be making her professional debut later this year. It really does feel like a new era that is starting here for CES, and Regis is really at the forefront.
Definitely. You know, Regis is 29 years old, so, you know, he fought an opponent today, got him out of there, but he needs to pick up now on fighting opponents with more fights on their record. That way to build him up and get him going at 29 years old.
Take a look at your screen here. We got a 6-round bout coming up shortly between Matt Doherty of Salem, Mass. and Eric Palmer, very tough veteran fighter. But again, you go back to that legacy that CS has built in the Northeast and continuing with some of these young stars. And I'm sure very soon we will see Tevin Regis and others be able to or begin to make that climb. And with that, we're ready for the next bout. Let's send it back to Pat Sullivan to introduce the fighters.
Oceanside, let's keep the action going and welcome the next fighter to the ring, Eric Palmer.
All right, Ray. Eric Palmer from Erie, Pennsylvania, 33 years young, comes in with a record of 15, 18, and 5. And that number 5 really stands out to me. To have 5 draws in your career, I'll tell you, that's going to mean a couple things. I think it means you're tough for one, and maybe your style's a little bit awkward and tough to pick up on.
I got 2 draws out of 60 pro fights, and you know, I think I won them too. So he probably thinks the same way himself, that them 5 draws are all wins.
And it says a lot to be able to hang in there with somebody. And I'm sure a lot of those draws probably, like you said, came against guys who thought they won the fight or coming into the fight thought they were going to win it. And Eric Palmer has always proven to be a tough customer. The one thing about Palmer, too, that stands out, of his 18 losses, he's only been stopped 4 times. So this is a guy that's going to give you rounds and go the distance. And he's been very up and down throughout his career. He's never lost more than 3 consecutive fights, so he's always stayed relevant, where he would win a couple here, maybe he loses 2 or 3, but he comes back and wins the next 3. So he keeps himself on the radar to give himself opportunities like he has tonight.
And his last fight was a win, so probably, you know, he's back on that winning track again.
Palmer also no stranger to New England. He's fought Brandon Berry twice from New Hampshire. He's fought Joe Farina. Also fought Mike Ohan Jr. here as well. So he's experienced. He knows this area. We'll see what he brings to the table.
And his opponent, Matt Doherty.
And Ray, when you speak about tough customers and guys that give you the all, Matt Doherty is another name that comes to mind. 36 years old from Salem, Massachusetts. He comes in with a record of 9-9-1, 5 knockouts on his resume. He returned to CS earlier this year in March after a 3-year layoff. And you would think after 3 years off, give me a couple of slam dunks. No, he went in there against 11-0 Kevin Walsh, King Kevin Walsh, and fought for the New England lightweight title. He went all 8 rounds. Walsh decidedly won the fight, but Doherty hung in there and did what he always does. So now Doherty tonight gets an opportunity against somebody who you would classify, with all due respect, as more of a journeyman type fighter. And perhaps that's where Doherty is on the fence as well. However, Doherty comes in tonight looking to get elusive win number 10. Again, always a tough customer, always game. He has been match Ray against some studs. Ray Moylet, Mike Quan Williams, Rudy Ochoa. When he fought those guys, they were all undefeated, and Doherty hung in there every single time. So this is somebody who, if you're facing a Matt Doherty, you know you're going to be in for, I think, a tough night.
I definitely think this fight will be the fight of the night right here. You got 2 fighters, both records 500. Both want to win, and this is going to be the best fight of the night, I believe.
This next bout is 6 rounds in the lightweight division. First, fighting out of the blue corner from Uniontown, Pennsylvania, with a record of 15 wins, 18 defeats, and 5 draws, with 3 wins coming by way of knockout. Yesterday, he weighed in at 139 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Eric the Gentleman Palmer. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, hailing from Halloween Town, Salem, Massachusetts, with a record of 9 wins, 9 defeats, and 1 draw, with 5 big wins coming by way of knockout. He weighed in at 139 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Matt the Mantis Doherty.
the dressing room. I expect a clean fight. Right here is good. Right here is good. Obey my commands. Protect yourself at all times. Good luck.
6 rounds in the lightweight division.
Here we go, getting ready for Matt Doherty against Eric Palmer. And I don't know, Ray, if you saw the weigh-in yesterday. These two were nose to nose in the
I saw the
face-off area.
pictures of it.
Yeah,
It's the
and
only ones nose to nose.
hey, listen, two guys with no history really with one another at all. I don't know if there was any trash talk online. Sometimes that's the case, but be that as it may, you can see the intensity on both guys. And I think you made a good point, Ray. Both guys are around 500
Yes.
for their records, and this is a big win for either guy. No matter where they go from here, it's a big win.
And that's probably why they were both nose to nose. They both know they both have 500 record. This is a fight where I continue my winning streak. And so they both want to come to fight. That's why I say it's going to be the fight of the night. Yeah, there are better fighters on the card probably, but this fight here is going to be one that's matched up. 500 fighting 500. And they both want to come out with that win.
You know, Palmer's, I say 33. He's only 33. I think that's young in boxing to me. At least in this era, I think it's a young age. He's already got 38 pro fights under his belt at 33 years old. So he still has, despite a lot of miles, I think a long way to go. Doherty getting some nice shots here. With that being said, I think Palmer has a long way to go. He cannot afford to lose 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row. It's when you start falling off the radar of other promoters. And a well-traveled guy like Palmer has to come into towns like this and get victories now and then to keep himself employed, really.
I think both fighters right now know this fight is, if I lose, it's probably time for me to hang it up. Not saying they're thinking that, but probably the promoters and probably everybody else saying, hey, you lose this fight, maybe give it up. So that's why both fighters, no fighter wants to give it up. They want that and they want to continue, so they both want to come in here and get that W. I think this fight would have been better in the sandbox because they're going to want to rumble these two guys.
Once again, we thank you for joining us tonight on DAZN Boxing for a Halloween knockout presented by CES Boxing. Michael Parenti joined by Sucro Ray Oliveira, live from the Oceanside Revere. You're watching Matt Doherty in the black and gold trunks taking on Eric Palmer in the white. And Ray, you know, we've seen fighters announce their retirements post-fight after a tough loss. We saw it with Jamie Hurricane Clampett. We've seen it with others. I wonder, and from your perspective, do fighters come in knowing that that's a possibility, or does something perhaps happen during the fight that says, you know what, this is what I didn't want to experience or didn't want to see it happen, and maybe it's time?
You either know it walking into the ring, or when the fight's done, a week later, you know it's retirement. If you walk in the ring, my last fight, I realized I wanted to retire when I was in the dressing room. Fighters know, some fighters, that if you get that feeling that this is my last fight, you're not coming out 100%. I don't care who you are, what you think. If you know it's your last fight, you're not coming out 100%. You got to believe that you want to continue. And then let the fight show you that this is my last fight. But don't call it in the back room.
22 seconds to go in round one. Nice overhand right by Doherty.
Doherty been landing this right here.
Yeah.
This fight right here. His opponent is keeping his head up high, not moving. Doherty just, he does the same thing. He comes in hard, he puts that head in your chest, and just whips those lefts and rights.
Good round for Doherty. I thought, like you said, Ray, I thought he was the aggressor. And you're right. I think Palmer's weakness is sort of standing upright, not really moving that head, and he's kind of a sitting target there. And Doherty connected a few times.
Yeah, his opponent's the taller guy, but you want to change your height. You don't want to stay tall all the time because your target right there. So Doherty's just whipping those right hands over the top and left hooks, and he's catching them all day.
No, that's a great point, Ray. I almost forgot to mention the height advantage from Palmer. On paper, anyway, he comes in at 6'4". Doherty is listed at 5'8". Now, watching them next to each other, it does look like a significant advantage. I'm not sure if it's 8 inches entirely.
Yeah, I don't think it's 8 inches.
But it's a real thing. And like you said, for Doherty again, he looks like the fighter who has the height. You and I talk about this so many times. We have called so many fights.
Yep.
We always say the height advantage means nothing if you don't use it.
If you don't use it, exactly. It's not just, and when I say use it, it's not stand up tall all the time. It's change your height. Change your height. Stay tall, stay low. Stay tall, stay low. If you stay low, you're there. If you stay high, you're there.
Well, round two underway. We'll see if Palmer can make that adjustment and, again, use that height to his advantage. And we'll see if Matt Doherty continues to bulldoze his way in like he did in round one.
See, as soon as Palmer throws his jab, he picks his head right up. As soon as that jab comes out, and Doherty's just throwing that right hand right over the top as soon as he gets inside.
It's been the weapon of choice for Doherty.
One thing with Doherty, he squares up. If he just keeps that right hand behind him, his right foot behind him, that right hand will have more meaning.
Hey, you see a little bit of that MMA background, by the way. Matt Doherty started out as a very good regional MMA fighter for a long time, fought for a CES Boxing sister promotion, CES MMA, and then made the transition. And at first, I think a lot of us thought it was just going to be a passing phase and maybe some keep busy opportunities, but he became a full-fledged boxer. I mean, now you're talking 19 pro fights in his career. He's a boxer now.
Yeah, he likes it or not, he's a boxer.
And he's done a great job for himself. He's won some fights. Probably one of the few in CES history to win a fight both for the MMA division and the boxing division. It's a very rare feat. Matt Doherty's done it, and just shown that he's a true fighter. And again, look, and you see him again, not afraid to mix it up on the inside against a taller opponent.
No, he comes inside. Palmer's too low.
Yeah.
I said he should get low, but he's bending with his waist instead of his knees.
And that's where that head leans forward, and that becomes a target again. And you're right, you don't want to do that.
He's jumping him with that right hand. He squares right up, Palmer.
Good combinations by Doherty, using the 1-2 to his advantage. 1:23 to go in round 2. This one is scheduled for 6. The super lightweight division.
That's what Doherty wants him on them ropes, but he doesn't want to square up on him. He squares up. It's easy to grab him and pull him in. But that's, again, his MMA background.
Yeah.
He wants to square up.
Yeah, I was going to say that square up stance is sort of a little bit of a glimpse into the past of how he used to fight. And, sometimes it comes out now and then, but
It sometimes helps. I got an amateur boxer. He's a wrestler. So when he does get inside, I tell him square up.
Yeah.
But when he squares up, he throws them hooks. That's what you don't want to be. He ain't going to throw straight. He's going to throw them hooks. Doherty is more aggressive this round here, like as the first one. But I like to see him work that body. You get inside, work the body. Don't always go for the head. I tell him, it's not just points for the head. There's points for the head and body.
might be a headbutt there as Palmer.
They've been headbutting
Yeah.
all day, these two.
And it's been a very it's been a little chippy on the inside, and it may suit or better suit Doherty to perhaps box a little more on the outside. He's sort of like losing his distance when he gets close.
That's his style, Doherty.
Yeah.
He comes in with his head. But, it's an advantage for him. It's not disadvantage. You can see he has a little abrasion on his head.
Yeah. Well, you're right. It is working so far, so
Yeah.
why switch up? Sometimes you and I discuss and we think maybe back up a bit because you're losing that range. But if Doherty can continue to make it work on the inside, then why not make it work? And so far he's done a good job here through 2 rounds. Trying to get this elusive win number 10. It's been quite a while since Doherty has won a fight in the ring. We mentioned he had that 3-year layoff. Really since 2018, only 1 victory on his record. But again, he's been matched so tough through the years against the likes of Mike Williams, Ray Moylet, Rudy Ochoa, and other fights that were on the table. I've had a lot of conversations with Matt during my days as CES matchmaker and a lot of proposed fights, but Matt became a family man after some time and went to work to support his family in boxing. I think just got put on the back burner.
Yeah.
But I saw him before the fight. I saw him as the arena was beginning to fill in. I said, now you're back. Not just back for that one fight, but you're fully back. This
Yes.
is now
Yes.
second fight since March. Now you start ready. As you know, a couple of fights you can build a little momentum.
Boxing's not a part-time job. I tell fighters that all the time. Get your outside life, in order.
Sure.
You can't do both. One of them got to come before the other. Unfortunately, my career, boxing came first. But right now, it's second back to there. But these fighters now, if you're young and you want to believe in boxing, you got to be selfish and you got to give your all into that because boxing will provide you to do other things.
We mentioned the clash of heads here on occasion. It's just kind of expected at this point as Doherty burrows his way, and once he lifts his head, Palmer's right there.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible to avoid, and referee's trying to do her best to.
I know that's Doherty's style. He comes in low with his head, but sit with your feet. Don't bounce it. There's no power in that. It's just a punch. If you sit with it, you get more. Use your hips, you get more power.
And Ray, it's tough to change up styles after that many years.
Yeah, it definitely is. But I think if the corner tells me, what do you do in MMA? Put the sport you do, MMA, into this.
Yeah.
Add that into it. Don't try to take it out. Add it into it. If you go square, hey, how do you take someone down? Your feet planted.
Now, the answer seems obvious, but what does Palmer need to do? Because he's just kind of getting burrowed here and bullied against the ropes. But, to use your height, is it just as simple as jab
Palmer
here and
is
there?
fighting Doherty's fight. He's fighting inside. He's a taller fighter, longer arms. outbox him, make him miss, make him pay. You know, even if you don't have the longer arms, you still can get on your toes, bounce, make him miss, make him pay. Doherty's flat-footed. You know, he comes in square, not flat, but square. Everything down the pipe, the 1-2s. But he's trying to punch around the corner. Another headbutt right there.
It's kind of been a theme in this fight. It's been a little bit sloppy, but still entertaining.
Yes.
That's what we like.
When I said fight of the night, what I mean is, you know, these guys are going to give us a hard 6 rounds. They're going to be there to fight. They ain't going to look for each other. A little bit of headbutting, a little elbowing, but it's a fight.
There's no question. Yeah, you've got two guys who are here to win. You're not looking at one guy who may just be here to survive and just try to get to the bell. Both guys want to win this fight, and both guys know what's at stake. And we don't really know, even having talked to Doherty, what his long-term future is. Right now it's just this fight and perhaps what lies next, but may not be that many left for him. So I think this is an opportunity to, as he takes a good left hand there by Palmer, an opportunity just to continue to stay active, Ray, and just see where it goes.
Yeah, you know, like I said, both guys got a 500 record, and they don't want the losing streak to continue. They got to look back. Both are in their 30s. Is this something want to continue doing? You know.
We'll see. This is the 4th round coming up, and referee Melissa Kelly has had her hands full here, really having to separate the action. It's a tough job, Ray, when you get to this kind of a fight. Really becomes a judgment call on the referee's part. How much do you let them fight their way out of those clinches, and at what point do you step in and say, okay, we got to switch these up here. It's getting a little too messy.
Well, the good thing about this fight is that these guys they're clinching, but not a lot. I've seen fighters who hold all day. These guys, just the headbutts. She probably did Doherty fights or seen him from the area, know he comes with his head. Palmer fought here a couple times too in Mass. She probably knows both fighters, probably had a talk with them already. I'm going to let you guys fight. I'm not going to try to get in there and break these up, so just listen to me. That's directions a ref will give all the time before a fight.
Michael Parenti once again joined by Sucre Ray Oliveira live on DAZN. And Ray, you mentioned the referee instructions before a fight. You know, sometimes I probably zone out, but it's important to listen in, right? Because you want to know what the referee's style is and what you can maybe get away with. Yeah,
you know, you always, a lot of trainers don't even, you know.
And speaking of now, Melissa Kelly calling time. I think it may be it's a headbutt issue.
Headbutt, you got abrasion on his head.
And just as we were talking about this, and now Melissa Kelly has got to get in there and go to work and see what's what. She's having a talk with Palmer. Seems like just a little.
What probably happened there, it's not abrasion. He probably got abrasion on a cut, but he's getting hit, but he keeps complaining, so she's probably asking, do you want to continue? You're complaining a lot. Sometimes fighters don't understand by complaining, that's also saying, I don't want to fight.
Interesting, yeah. Well, and good job by Melissa Kelly to step in and just sort of get to the bottom of it, take the few minutes or seconds that's necessary to see where both fighters are mentally before you resume the action, and here we go now.
I always tell my fighters, let the coach be the one that complains to the referee. You don't complain, because it looks on behalf of you that you're trying to find a way out.
There we go again. Looks like Palmer again complaining of a headbutt. Melissa Kelly stepping in again a second time. Now resuming the action. I think this time just kind of giving Doherty a warning. Now this has to be tough for Doherty from a mental standpoint. You now become a little bit less prone to step in and fight your style because you're worried about the referee giving you a warning or taking a point.
Not Doherty.
No.
He's a veteran, so he probably knows, you know, I always tell my fighters, the referee complains, keep doing it.
Yeah.
If they don't, wait, when they take a point off, keep doing it. They take 2 points off, stop doing it.
Oh. Palmer probably having his best offensive output here since that second headbutt. Had Doherty against the ropes for a minute. Doherty wisely wrapped up here as we get to the halfway point of round number 4. And again, it's been a sloppy fight.
Yeah.
Both fighters have had their moments. Nice right hand there by Doherty on the way in. But again, I think both fighters, Ray, in the back of their mind are going to be cognizant of the headbutt.
Oh, you're definitely wary of the headbutt. Doherty's not. He's the one doing the headbutting.
Is Palmer more at risk here from a mental standpoint of unraveling?
Yes,
Yeah.
Every time Doherty comes in, he's probably thinking that that head. So feint with the head and let your punches go. If he's thinking about it, feint. Use it to your advantage. Referee hasn't taken a point on yet and hasn't said she's going to. So keep doing what you're doing.
And it doesn't seem like she wants to take a point away. I think she's doing her best to keep the warning and just to have a talking to at some point when she can to avoid. Because as you know, in a close fight, a one-point conduction could change everything. And you don't want to be the referee that makes that call and maybe cost somebody a fight. Oh, big right hand there by Doherty again.
That's what you got to do right there. You got to sit, plant, and throw that right hand go. I think she should be more on the complaint of the headbutts. She's probably not because like she knows Doherty. That's how he comes in. The fighter should know Doherty. That's how he comes in. That's how he works. He's not doing his purposes. It's just his style.
No, it's a good point, Ray. It's like in baseball where hitters know the umpire that's assigned to the game, and he's at a wide strike zone. That guy's got a tighter strike zone. You know the referees know the fighters. I kind of know what they're going to call or what they're going to put a stop to or not let go. And I think in this case it's benefiting both sides here. I saw a little bit of blood, I think, on Doherty's back, and that could have been a cut maybe on Palmer. We'll have to see if we get a shot of the corner here. But a very choppy fourth round, and we had multiple stoppages, warning of the headbutts. The fight's taking a very interesting turn, and there it is right there. Right in the middle of the forehead, the blood dripping down the bridge of the nose of Eric Palmer, and you got to think that's from a headbutt, most likely.
Definitely from a headbutt. It's
or
not,
maybe a accumulation of headbutts.
Yes, it's not, advantage on his eyes. He jumps in right with his head. And he's not slamming it, but that's his style. And also, Palmer's style is he's tall. Move your head out the way.
I agree, Ray. That's one of the tough things about a shorter fighter matchup against a taller fighter is that this is the kind of thing that can happen from time to time. And again, especially if it's a taller fighter who doesn't have the experience or maybe just the ability to keep the shorter fighter at bay. Not every short fighter or shorter fighter like Doherty is a bulldog in a sense that's going to worm his way in. Some guys are a little tentative and hesitant. Doherty obviously is not one of those guys, so it just may be the worst of both worlds, if you will. A guy that really can't use the height advantage and a guy that's not afraid to just head down and move his way in.
I mean, Doherty's coming with that head, so put that jab on him. It's right there. But
there it is.
You're allowing Doherty to jump in and work on the inside, so that's his style. That head is rubbing all day on him. But that's Doherty's. He's not picking his chin up.
No.
He got his chin to chest. So it's basically not him purposely ramming him. It's just his style.
So that's a good point. So the referee will keep an eye on the head placement in a sense to see, okay. And you're right. I think that's just Doherty's style. It's sort of a byproduct of the matchup here in the center of the ring, and that unfortunately is what happens. And
just like when Evander Holyfield fought Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was complaining about Evander headbutt, but that's Evander's style. His chin is low, and he's not purposely headbutting you. Just Imano, who's going to be the man?
Hope Palmer doesn't take a chunk out of the air. that kids is not what you want to do in response to being headbutted multiple times. Just so we know.
When you get headbutt him back.
Doherty's got some blood in the forehead. It's probably Palmer's blood. I don't think Doherty has a cut or enough of an abrasion.
Yeah, he has abrasion on his head, but I don't think it opened him up.
Yeah, see, Palmer bleeding again. This is where you need a good cut man, too, to be able to stop that cut and stop that bleed.
The blood's not going to the eyes.
Yeah,
right
center
above
down the middle,
center down the middle. If it was above the eye, then you probably call the doctor over to look at it.
Best case scenario, that's the place you'd want it if you have to have a cut.
Yep.
1 minute to go here in round 5. Once again, Michael Parenti and Sucro Ray Oliveira bringing you all the action here on CES Boxing's Halloween Knockout on DAZN Boxing.
See, Palmer, he has spits in there where he looks like he's doing something, but then he goes back to allowing Doherty back inside and working over the top. See, that's where he doesn't want to be. Palmer doesn't want to keep Doherty in there. He wants to keep him on the outside. Use the outside of the ring.
Melissa Kelly has had to do a lot of counseling tonight in the ring race. She's probably spoken more in this fight than she's had to speak in her entire career as an official. But she's doing a good job. She's keeping these fighters, I think, in the fight mentally and has kept order, if you will.
She's a great ref. She does a lot of the Golden Gloves up here in low, and they always boo her when she comes in. And she says she takes that out of respect because they remember her every year.
Who was it? Jazz Chisholm for the New York Yankees said they don't boo bums, right? So You know she's doing her job if she's getting booed.
Exactly.
And then, as a referee, you got to be the disciplinarian in there. You are the order in that ring, and you've got to keep the fight. We've seen many examples, Ray, where the referee has lost complete control of the fight, and it can lead to some bad things. Bell rings for round 5, and once again, Matt Doherty exerting his will in a sense and continuing to fight his fight. And I think, I don't want to read into body language, but I feel like Palmer is just frustrated at this point. Is that a safe assessment?
Yeah, definitely. He's frustrated and getting headbutted all day. He's frustrated thinking that the ref ain't doing nothing, but that's you in your corner. You pick this fight. You know what the fighter does. He's going to headbutt. I knew this. He doesn't do it on purpose. It's his style. So keep his head off you, but you're allowing him inside, so hey. Blame your corner.
Ray, and this is, and that's a very good point. This is where having the right team makes all the difference in the world. And sometimes fighters who come from out of town cannot bring their entire team with them. They may get a head trainer or whoever's available, and somebody who you never worked with before.
Yes.
It's hard to take advice from someone that doesn't know your style, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why as a fighter also you ask, hey, you're from this area. Do you know this fighter? Do you know what he does or doesn't do? You ask the guy. If you're coming from out of town and you're getting somebody from there, ask them, do you know this guy? No, I don't. Well, get me someone that knows this guy.
With all things considered, Palmer is kind of a man without a country here in New England.
Yeah.
Taking on someone who's got a full team and having to battle this adversity of the headbutts and everything else. Like you said, he probably doesn't think the referee's doing enough, and she's doing all she can there, and I'm sure Doherty feels otherwise. So there's so much at play in the fight. It is the final round here of this scheduled 6-round bout, so we'll see if Palmer, who takes a stiff jab there, can perhaps empty the tank and maybe get enough of an offensive output to turn the fight around. But it's going to have to start now.
He definitely has to start now. It's the last round. I got Doherty winning, the last 5 rounds that we've seen. It's up to Palmer right here to get him out.
And you're right, that may be what Palmer has to do to get the victory. It's unlikely he's going to get it on the scorecards. And it's been the kind of fight we expected. It was going to be a bit sloppy, but both fighters were going to come out of this feeling like they just fought 12 rounds instead of 6. And with this kind of a matchup, this is what we've gotten.
Like I said, both guys, they've been better in the sandbox. They don't have to move. They get to stay foot in one corner and just throw.
Palmer trying to work the body a little bit. Doherty's got that left arm hooked. And now Doherty gets Palmer against the ropes.
Palmer got to get his distance. Doherty, he wants that fight that close. That's what Doherty wants. He's doing exactly what Doherty wants. He's letting him walk in without a jab. Let him earn his space.
You're 100% right, Ray. Palmer has never really been able to maintain any distance or range in this fight. Doherty has almost at will just worked his way in, and you can sense the frustration. On top of that, with the headbutts, it's an extremely frustrating night for Palmer, who now is just trying to empty the tank here over these final 70-plus seconds.
He's looking better this round, honestly. Palmer is. He's not complaining about the headbutts and just letting his hands go. But you got to keep that chin down.
Easier said than done, Ray, but you got to put it out of your mind and just focus on the opponent in front of you, and that's what Palmer is trying to do here in this final round, and see if he can muster up enough momentum to do something to turn his fortunes around, if you will.
Yes, he definitely has to turn his fortune around this round here. He has to sit down and throw some pop in there, not just throw punches, but put some pop in those punches.
30 seconds to go in this fight, and we encourage you to stay with us tonight. We're going to have a conversation later on with CES ring announcer, matchmaker, director of operations, and the man who wears many hats, Patrick Sullivan. Going to talk to us a little bit about CES Boxing, what they have in store for 2024, and talk to us a little bit about an initiative that's close to his heart during Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October. So we'll have a conversation later on this evening with Patrick Sullivan. I'm looking forward to that. Final 5 seconds here. Palmer swinging from the hips, trying to get something going. A nice show of respect at the end there. These guys went to war for 6 hard rounds, and nothing but love as the final bell sounds. But in the end, it looks like Matt Doherty has done enough to get win number 10. And, Ray, I think it just came down to him fighting his fight and not worrying about what the opponent brought to the table.
Yeah, I tell fighters all the time, don't worry what that fight is doing. Do what you do. Here's your game plan. You're trying to change his game plan. You have to fight your game plan. Don't try to change his. Fight your game plan instead of what you do.
And that just stems from confidence, right? Having the confidence to go in there and knowing that this is what's worked for me for my entire career, whether it was MMA or when I transitioned full-time to boxing, you stick with that same game plan. And I agree, it's like watching film on a fighter or, you know, a football team watching too much film of the opponent.
Yeah.
Do what you do, and 9 times out of 10, you're going to do well. And,
Exactly.
and for Matt Doherty, seems to be the case tonight here.
Yeah, Matt came out. He did what he does. He just comes, he throws, put that head down. If I hit him with my hand or head, I'm winning the fight.
So 6 rounds in the books. Matt Doherty giving a little wave to his fan base. Doherty brought a lot of people here from Salem, Massachusetts, as Pat Sullivan said, spooky town.
Yes.
During Halloween season, Salem is definitely the place you want to be at this time of the year. But again, instead, Doherty is here in Revere, trying to get win number 10 and putting in a spirited effort against the journeyman, the tough journeyman Eric Palmer. And you can see why Palmer, by the way, has had so many fights that go the distance, why he's had 5 draws, only been stopped 4 times. He's tough. He hangs in there.
Yes.
He can make the fight sloppy. He can smother at times, and then there are times where he finds that range and lets his hands go. So he's kind of a jack-of-all-trades type fighter, and I'm sure really he's nowhere near the end at 33 and will continue to go and move forward, and you would hope that with every fight you learn a lesson from it.
I hope we definitely learn a lesson from this. Is don't walk into a fight without at least one guy in your corner. That's your trainer.
So as we await the decision, Matt Doherty trying to get his first win since 2018. And it would be win number 10. And Ray, that's a big deal. You know, a lot of fighters don't get to those double-digit wins. Some guys like Vinny Paz got to 50 wins.
Yeah.
Some guys get to 20 and they're happy. I'm sure for Doherty, this is a nice milestone, assuming he gets this on the scorecard. To get win number 10, it's a journey that a lot of fighters have not taken.
No.
And not gotten there in the past. So credit to him.
If it's win number 10 or loss number 10, he's going to be more happy with the win number 10. You know, you don't want to be 9 and 10. He wants to be 10 and 9. And Doherty, you know, to come back his last fight after 3 years, he fought Walsh. That was tough.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Matt Doherty and Eric Palmer. After 6 tough rounds, we go to the scorecards. Judge Ken Volvic scores the fight 58-58. Judge Joe Appice scores about 58-56 for Matt Doherty. Judge Robert Penagos scores about 58-56 for your winner by decision, Matt Doherty!
Very close fight on the scorecards, 58-56 on 2 of them, and then we had a draw on the 3rd card. So, hey, that's Eric Palmer's thing. He's had 5 draws in his career, almost had a 6th.
I think he would have been much happy with a draw.
This is almost like a homecoming. Around this special time of year, you're from Salem, Mass, Halloween town. This is where everyone around you really gets hyped up. But tonight, they all came out here to support you in nearby Revere, Massachusetts. I know the support means a lot to you.
Yeah, big time, man. The support is everything. Everybody coming out, thank you so much. Everybody that supported me back home. I mean, doing what I love doing right now, still after all these years, man, I still get the same crowd right behind me, and I love it. I want to say thanks to my wife over there who supports me like crazy. Tita, man, she holds the house down when I'm training, so I'm excited. Thank you.
Now, Matt, let's talk about tonight's fight. You fought a really game opponent, Eric Palmer. He gave you everything you could handle tonight, and it was a really tough fight for both you guys. Is this what you expected going into the bout?
Yeah, I mean, you look at somebody's record, I know that stuff because of myself, but he's a veteran, man. He's fought so many people, 40 fights, professional, been on TV too. I knew coming in I had to work hard for it. It was a big comeback fight for me with a camp that I really needed. Thank you to Reyes Boxing, Mike, my coach. I'm excited. I knew what I was coming in for, and I had to dig hard for it.
Congratulations to your winner by decision, Matt Doherty.
Once again, Matt the Mantis Doherty with the majority decision victory over Eric Palmer. Very hard-fought fight. Not surprised at all by those scorecards. I thought Doherty did enough to win more rounds, But they were close rounds, and you could see a judge going in a different direction. And really all it takes is 1 or 2 rounds going a different way, and you have a close scorecard like that.
Yeah, like I tell you all the time, judges are always sitting in different areas and they see different things. We're sitting here. I saw the fight. I thought Matt had every round, except probably one. But I'm on this angle. Someone on the other angle might see a little differently something else. So I try fights never go against the judges. What they see is up to you to make the win or the loss.
All right, so Matt Doherty gets win number 10. Congratulations to him on what's been a great career from his MMA beginnings to now where he is in the boxing world. So again, like we said, Ray, not every fighter can say he or she had double-digit victories inside that squared circle. So I give him a lot of credit for doing what he's done and just being a fantastic ambassador for the sport here in New England, and a guy who's always gone in there and has been willing to fight anybody at any given time. And that's really been the legacy of Matt Doherty as he gets ready to take the next step. And perhaps it's going to be another fight down the road at some point, and perhaps moving along in his career. So, hey, Pat Sullivan joining us. This is a man, again, who I've described as ring announcer, matchmaker, director of operations, the heart of the MMA division, the man with the pink sport coat. You wear a number of hats here at CES,
Sure.
and we started this broadcast talking about what I think tonight is the beginning of the new generation of CES.
Certainly.
We remember going years back, the Vladimir Biasis, the Peter Manfredos, the Rich Gingrasses of the world. They've moved on now, and there's an opportunity for somebody else, or perhaps for a group of fighters to take over. And tonight we see all the new acquisitions. We've got Mike Fontanez, Rashidi Ellis, Joe Bush, even Tevin Regis, who is still a newcomer to the roster. So, Pat, I got to say, looking forward to the future of CS, it looks very bright.
It certainly does, and what it excites me a lot is what the fighters that we're bringing in now to join CES is their excitement level. I've been with CES now for 15 years. You and I actually started right around the same time.
That's
we
true.
started by hosting a homemade podcast before podcasts were cool in the CES office. We both match made together, and now this is cool that we're still doing this on DAZN now, which is really special to CES. But I think you're right. This is the launching pad to the next generation of CES. Jimmy Birchfield, the promoter, obviously has been doing this for 25, 30 years. He's promoted world champions on all different levels. Some of the greatest fighters in this sport. I mean, Sucre Oliveira was sitting in this very seat. It's a legend in New England. But about a year ago, we sat down and said, what's the direction of CES? We had Jermaine Ortiz fight for a world title against Teofimo Lopez, a fight that a lot of people, including myself, and I think you too, thought he won the fight. And he's fighting again next Friday on DAZN. So that was kind of the point where we said, you know what, let's go all in. Let's build our roster. Let's rebulk it up. And now you mentioned, tonight Rashidi Ellis, Mike Fontanez, some of the best fighters in the region that are going to go on and be world champions. I mean, Rashidi Ellis, man, he's probably the most exciting fighter that we've had at CS in a long time, and he will be fighting for a world championship soon. But next week, we're also at Mohegan Sun, November 2nd. In that fight, we have Alejandro Paulino, who has set the boxing world on fire as of lately. He's fought 5 times already this year. He just fought in the Team Combat League. He was the best fighter in Team Combat League, going 12-0 with 7-8 knockouts. I mean, he knocked everybody out. He's fighting Toka Khan, another CES fighter in the main event, 10-rounder. We also have Irvin Gonzalez, who's a staple in New England, fighting Kevin Walsh, who's an up-and-comer. And then a signing that I'm really excited about is Amelia Moore.
Yes.
She comes from the Olympic team. She fought for 7-8 years in the amateur ranks in USA Boxing, multi-time national champion. She is just badass. She goes in there with mean intentions. She's so exciting to watch. She's a sweetheart out of the ring. She's going to be someone that will be a world champion under CES, and that's really exciting.
We touched upon the Team Combat League connection at the beginning of the broadcast. That is where Rashidi Ellis, Mike Fontanez, Amelia Moore, and others saw firsthand what CES boxing can do for a fighter's career. And it's no matter where you are in your career, whether you're Rashidi Ellis, who has 27 pro fights, or you're an Amelia Moore, who has yet to turn pro, CES can build that same path. And I think Jermaine Ortiz is really the blueprint. Jermaine Ortiz was a fighter with a big amateur background in the Olympic trials, made the start in New England, fighting at small venues like most fighters do, and now he's on the biggest stage of the world fighting Teofimo Lopez. So I think that's an important message for a young fighter to see what the Jimmy Birchfield experience can be and what CS can do for your career.
I think the biggest part about that is a lot of fighters who fought in Team Combat League have never had a real promoter. And by that I mean they're going out and fighting for promoters who don't necessarily have their career in their best interest, but it's more, how many people can you get to come to my show tonight? And then you realize when you work with Jimmy Birchfield and myself and you and the rest of the CES team that that's not our goal, is to put on good fights for the fans, because the fans are the one who pay the bills, but to put on good fights and also build fighters' careers. right? You saw a guy like Tevin Regis. He fought a tough kid tonight. I mean, granted, he was 0-1, but he fought a tough fight. But you're seeing as the card gets later and later that these guys are fighting tougher and tougher fights. Tonight, you're going to see Mike Fontanez fight a guy who's got almost 3 times the amount of fights he had, a winning record. He's got 15 knockouts. The kid comes in here with mean intentions. He had a big knockout here in Massachusetts about a year ago. So as the fight card continues to get, later in the night, you're going to see better and better matchups, better opponents. And I think what excites these fighters is you come in here and you can start where guys like Tevin, and you're going to see Joe Bush next, you can see them start, and you're in the locker rooms with these guys like Rashidi and with Francis Hogan and Elvin Ayala. I mean, we didn't even talk about Elvin Ayala. I mean, he's one of the guys in New England who really brought boxing back in the last 10 years, and now he's fighting in the co-feature. So I think there's a good mixture of up-and-coming talent with guys who are going to be world champions, and then you get guys like Elvin Ayala in the mix who just do it because they love boxing, and they still bring the heat when they put the love on.
Well, that's what it is. CES builds superstars. They build household names. When you come to an event, you will see familiar faces and familiar names, and you get excited about the matchups. Now, Pat, it's October. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. You have the pink blazer on. This is a charity and an endeavor that is near and dear to your heart. Explain to us a little bit about what that's about.
Yeah, so I started the Joanne Sullivan Memorial Fund in memory of my mother who passed away in 2008 of breast cancer. She had cancer for a few years, and then they did the treatment. About for 10 years, she was cancer-free. Almost to the day where we celebrated her 10-year being cancer-free, she was diagnosed again, and it was stage 4. It was as dire as it could be, and every time I talk about it, I admit I'm the biggest mama's boy ever. I still am to this day. That was 16 years ago. She's still my hero, still my idol, still someone I think about and look up to and pray to every day. But when she passed away, I was so touched by not just the medical care that I got at Dana-Farber with my mother, but also the mental care and the way that they treated every patient as if they were their mother, right? So when I'm talking to her oncologist, it wasn't like, hey, this is her doctor. It was like, this is her friend.
Yeah.
And it really touched me. So I sat with the doctors and I said, I want to support this as much as I can, but I don't want to be donating money that's going to go and stock shelves. I don't want to, do this for the cleaning team, which it's all important, right? But I want to contribute to the cure because my mother lived in this hospital for 4 years, and it was, a lot of her time in there. So we got with them. We started a research foundation, and in the past 15 years, we've raised $840,000 for this research, which has already done some incredibly groundbreaking stuff. A lot more than I can explain here on this, but obviously we'll share the QR code if you want to go to the link and read more about it. But they are changing the way that cancer is treated, not just from a medical level, but also from a mental level, spiritual level, just the way that it's approached. And I really think that's an important thing that they're doing is making sure that every patient feels comfortable. But CES has been incredible supporting it. You've been incredible supporting it, coming to all of our events. We do a big golf tournament in the year, and now CES has really got behind it, selling pink T-shirts, getting sponsors to come out, and it's something that I'm always going to do because I'm my mama's boy. And my last conversation with my mother is I promised her that when I do see her again, that I promised she'd have the biggest smile ever, knowing that her mama's boy contributed to finding the cure for cancer. So that's my goal, that's my mission. I wear pink every day. Now, whether it's October, whether it's December, I wear pink all the time because I'm a mama's boy. So, that's my life mission, and we're going to keep doing it forever.
Now listen, you and your team have done amazing work raising money, and more importantly, where the money's going and what it's going toward is making a difference. So we're going to show that QR code throughout the night. We encourage you to log on, donate, make a difference, just like Pat Sullivan has done and just like the Joanne Sullivan Memorial Fund has done. Pat,
yep. Now, what I can say is it is also a 501c3, so all donations are tax deductible, and there's no overhead at all. I don't take a single cent out of it. 100% of the money that's donated goes directly to Dana-Farber. I hand it to the actual researcher who does it to put it into that foundation. So I appreciate any dollars that are donated, any support that I can get. If you can't, just please check out the link and share it, support it however you can. If it's not my foundation, find another one that's dear to your heart, because ultimately it's in my mother's name, but it's in everybody else who's out there supporting it and fighting for someone.
Well, listen, once again, we're proud to help out here at CES Boxing. We thank everybody for watching us tonight on DAZN. Pat, thank you for sharing the spotlight with us a bit here and giving fans an idea of what CES Boxing is all about. I think it's important to get that understanding. So, Pat, great job as always.
Appreciate it, Mike.
Always a pleasure to sit down there and talk. We've got so much more to come. We're just 2 fights into Halloween Knockout, and we're about to hear Pat Sullivan again really soon up in the ring as he gets prepared to announce the next bout. So, again, we've had a great start to the evening. So much more coming up. And again, we talked about those future stars.
Let's get the next fight started, and welcome to the ring, Keenan Raymond.
Michael Parenti once again joined by Sucre Ray Oliveira back ringside for a Halloween knockout here on DAZN. And we are ready for this, I would say, very interesting bout here between Keenan Raymond, who's about to make his way to the ring, and Joe Bush, one of the newest CES signings. Keenan Raymond, for those who do not know, is a longtime MMA veteran from Providence, 34 years of age, very unorthodox, awkward style fighter, had a great wrestling career, and now comes in really super busy over the last year and a half in boxing. He's somehow, I feel like he just started boxing a year ago, and he's already got 15 fights under his belt. And Ray, even though he's 2-10-3, Raymond has managed to steal a few now and then, which we will talk about in a bit, but this is a very, very wiry opponent and a very tough draw for anybody who gets in the ring with him.
I thought Raymond looked familiar. He's been training out of Bernardo's
That's
gym.
right.
So now I seen him sparring, seen him training sometimes. He fights sort of like Doherty.
He's tough and
But a lot
awkward. Yeah,
busier.
they can be very dangerous.
And his opponent, Joe Bush.
And now making his way to the ring from Marshfield, Massachusetts, just 27 years of age, 4 wins, all by knockout under his belt. And now tonight making his CES boxing debut, here is Joe Bush, the one of 3 newest acquisitions to the CES roster. Ray, what can you tell us about Joe? He just fought in August. He's had all wins by knockout. Competition has been great, but he's doing what he needs to do in the ring.
Joe Bush, he's a good up-and-coming fighter, and I'm happy that we signed him to our team, you know. He's exciting. He brings a crowd to come in, and the guy can hit. He definitely can hit.
Joe Bush turned pro in 2023. He's had a steady climb, a bit of a late bloomer at 27, but the way to do that and to overcome that is to just be very busy, very active early on, and you make up those wins. And he's got another opportunity here tonight against Keenan Raymond, which should be a very interesting 4-round bout here in the middleweight division. And with that, we're going to send it back up to the ring announcer, Pat Sullivan, with the official introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is 6 rounds in the welterweight division. Let's meet the blue corner. Coming from Warwick, Rhode Island, making his 16th professional fight, weighing in at 150 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, Keenan Spaz Out Raymond! And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, hailing from Plymouth County in Marshfield, Massachusetts. His record, perfect, with all 4 wins, coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joe Bush!
Moving over the rules, protect yourself at all time, obey my commands at all time. Please touch them up. Good luck to both of you.
6.
Correction from Pat Sullivan, this is a 6-round bout, not a 4-round bout, so I want to make sure we make that correction and make that perfectly clear as we get ready for Halloween Knockout resuming here on DAZN. And so round 1 of 6 about to begin, and we hadn't really got a chance to talk a little bit about Keenan Raymond and just the customer that he is. He had a very quick entrance to the ring, but in Raymond's pro debut, he beat a 3-0 fighter, Julian Baptiste, by decision. He's had some pretty good efforts in there, Ray. He had a draw against 7-0 Kenny Larson. He's already had a win this year against 4-0 Mario Ramirez and Melrose. So it just seems like there's a little bit of a fall off in between. He'll lose a few here and there.
Yeah.
And then he gets this unexpected win against somebody who I think looks at the record and thinks, okay, this is a good step up for me. And then he goes in there and he gets the W. So, I mean, Raymond's tough. He's a little bit awkward. He's a little bit elusive. When he wants to come to fight, and sometimes the effort and I think the motivation and the focus is not there. But when he has all 3 turned down, he can be very tough.
No, he comes to fight because he has his record, you know. He's been knocked out 6 times. So I want, see if he can take a punch over here from Bush.
We know Bush has that knockout power. His fans come to the arena and they're expecting to see a knockout, and he's delivered each time. But as you know, Ray, and this is common in boxing, as the level of competition rises, it's tougher to get those knockouts. You got to work more for them.
It takes 1 punch to change a fight. Usually it's Bush. Hopefully it's not Raymond hitting Bush today.
Bush said he started boxing because, quote, I couldn't hit, catch, or throw a ball, so I learned how to throw a punch, end quote. And so here he is. He's learned the trade relatively quickly. Two-time New England Golden Glove champion, two-time Rocky Marciano champion, former high school wrestler. So he's always been involved in combat sports and fighting to some degree. And this is a natural transition for him into the boxing ring.
This fight here, I believe, is going to be who's going to back up who. Both guys got probably the same style. Bush is more the better boxer here. So I would like to see Bush back up Raymond, make him back fight on his heels.
Guys, sometimes think, Ray, that the late bloomers have it tougher because when you're early 20s, you can really start out and pace yourself in terms of when you take that step-up test. When you're 27, maybe you got to take it a little bit earlier. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's definitely accurate. You know, when you're younger, you can play. You know, you have time to play there. When you're older, there's no playing there. You just got to go and you got to make your story out.
And Keenan Raymond, you know, I think a logical step-up fight for a guy like Joe Bush because he's not going to lay down. If you hit him, he might. If you have the power, you can get him out of there. But also at the same time, Raymond's going to come and get or come to get the W.
Yeah, I mean, if I was Bush, taking the 6th round is beautiful here for Raymond. He would probably want the 4th round.
I think so. Raymond does tend to take some fights on shorter notice. He does stay in shape, but again, it's different, right? Being in boxing shape per se than to jump in there on let's say 10 or 14 days notice. Sometimes the longer the fight, the more gas you get at the end.
And there's another difference too. A lot of fighters are gym shape, but they're not fighting shape.
and you and I know, and you've been there and you've seen it with the fighters you train. There's obviously a big difference between being, like you said, in ring shape and being in the shape for the gym, and it's obviously a big difference. You see Keenan Raymond's corner. We mentioned that he trains out of Bernardo Boxing. There's Tony Andriozzi, a fellow pro, another very tough customer who is a guy who's fought almost everybody and anybody at this level.
Yeah, but our thing is when we're going to see him on our show.
Maybe someday we'll get a chance to see Tony Andriozzi in action on a CES card, or maybe here on DAZN. We'll see how that pans out for him. But right now, Andriozzi giving some sage advice to Keenan Raymond, and of course Team Bush rolling deep here at Revere as they get ready for round number 2.
He got a good crowd in his Bush.
See Mark Gagaro again. We mentioned Mark Gagaro earlier in the night, who also works with Tevin Regis. Gagaro was the head coach of the Boston Butchers and TCL, and I think he has made it a point to bring a lot of fighters to Jimmy Birchfield's doorstep for CES and say, hey, look, I've got this young fighter, I got this young up-and-comer. And they saw, as we talked about with Pat Sullivan during the break, they saw the impact that Jimmy Birchfield can have on a fighter's career, and now everybody wants in.
Yeah, it's good also, you know, Birchfield's New England. He ain't just Rhode Island, it's New England. So it's good that we're getting these fighters now from Massachusetts, that we're starting to show that, you know, I'm from New England.
Yeah.
I fought from New England. I'm from Massachusetts. That we got these fighters in Mass, not just Rhode Island. Mass and Rhode Island together, we can take over everything.
Now, this recent string of signings by CS is the most, I would say, free agent activity I've seen in quite some time. CS has always found a way to develop champions and build them from the ground up. But lately, it just seems like every fighter that's come through the doors is signing a long-term promotional deal, and they're seeing what other fighters have been able to do and do under the CES banner, and they all want a piece of it as well. So, and again, I mentioned to Pat Sullivan, you and I have talked about this before, Jermaine Ortiz really being the, I think, current-day poster child for what CS can do for a young fighter's career. You have to obviously have the talent and the determination and everything else that goes with it, but having the right promoter in your corner as well can be so instrumental.
Having the right promoter is definitely it's going to help doors open up. You can't open it up on your own. You need you can knock on that door. They can look through the peephole and they just see you. They ain't going to open it. But if you knock on that door, someone else knocks on that door and they look through the peephole. Oh, they would see yes, Jimmy Birchfield. Let's open the door and hear what they got to say. That helps.
Halloween Knockout. Brought to you by CES Boxing, live on DAZN. Michael Parenti again joined by Sucre Ray Oliveira. We've been bringing you all the action live from the Oceanside Revere. Very intimate venue. It's packed to the gills here tonight. And this is what regional boxing to me is all about, the smaller, close-knit venues where the crowd is so close to the action. You really feel the vibe from the ring on through the entire arena.
Yeah.
It's a great place to watch a good fight.
It's a great venue. You know, it's not a bad seat in the house.
No. Standing room fans. Again,
best
wall to
seat
wall
is
tonight.
us.
And we have the best seat. I think we do have the best one here from our vantage point. Clear shot of all the action. And Joe Bush trying to turn up the pace a little bit here, Ray, in round 2.
Both fighters almost got the same style. To me, they're not really boxers. They come in, they're fighters. And I tell people, what I mean different than fighting a boxer. Boxer's on his toes. Boxing. Fighter, these guys come to fight. They're going to sit there, their legs open, wide, and sit for the power. And that's what they're both doing right now.
I would have never guessed that Keenan Raymond, when I saw him in the cage many years ago at CS MMA, that he would have more boxing fights on his record than MMA fights, but he's already surpassed that. He's done it in a short amount of time. He had some setbacks in MMA. He had fights that fell through. There were times where he was, in a word, unreliable, not being there at the venues, or things would happen backstage and fights would not happen. But he seems to have found more of a niche here. And maybe this is just more of his pace. Maybe this is something that he prefers over the MMA scene. But whoever it is, I think Aaron Bernardo and that team has
I was about
tapped
to
into
say
the
that.
potential.
I think it's the part of being with Aaron Bernardo that shows them that you've got a team with you, that we're expecting you to show up in the gym, and we're expecting you to be at the fight, because if you're not there, it hurts our name. So we're a team. Let's do this together. I think being with Aaron Bernardo, it teamed him up and it made him a much better fighter, much better person.
I think that's a great point. I think there was a need for some maturity on Raymond's part. I think he's found it here in boxing, and just for him to be this active in a short 2-year span, I think shows a lot of growth for him. Now, he's not going to be a world champion. There's no mistake in that. But you can carve a nice career being somebody who a promoter can rely upon.
Yes.
Who not only just shows up, but you get in the ring and you make the most of the opportunity as well. It's not just about showing up and being there, because if you show up and you just get out of there in a round or two, you're not going to be asked to come back. And Raymond has come back. He's now fought on at least 2 or 3 CS shows in the boxing circuit. So it shows you that he has found a new identity with Bernardo Boxing. So credit to them for, I think, bringing the best out of Raymond and showing him, like you said, Ray, team is where it's all at.
Yeah, and if other fighters see that, they might want to join that same team there too, you know? They might want to go and say, hey, I see what they did for you. Maybe they could do the same thing to me, and I'm a much better fighter than you, so they could do a lot more for you.
Round 3 of a scheduled 6-round bout. And Ray, you've seen a little bit from Joe Bush here and perhaps the feeling out process. What do you need to see here now in round 3? Is this the time to maybe put the foot on the pedal?
You should have put the foot on the pedal after the first round. Right now, you know, it looks like he's still feeling the guy out. I mean, I always say after 1 round, you felt him out. After 1 minute, I felt him out and did my thing. I think he's starting to put the pressure on now, but he keeps squaring up. He keeps squaring up. And you can always tell when someone has a long amateur career and a short amateur career. Long amateur career, you see the much better boxing ability. They don't square up so much. Hands are tight down the middle. When they don't have that much of a long amateur career, they start off like that, and then as the fight goes on, they go back into squaring up, throwing wide, bending with their hips instead of their knees.
Joe Bush looking for win number 5. The first 4 have been by knockout. And Bush has found a nice home here in Boston. He's from Marshfield, Mass. All of his fights have been in Boston after turning pro in 2023. Last fought in August, so he's staying busy, which you have to do at this point. You know, he's 27, like we mentioned. He's not the prototypical 18, 19-year-old up-and-coming prospect. He's more of a mid-range guy who's had a later start, but there's still opportunities there, Ray. I think, mouthpiece comes flying out there.
And at that weight class, you can stay busy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fighters there and people want to fight. So you get that catch weight between 47 and 54. You get plenty of fights inside there.
You know, with this rebirth in recent years of regional boxing, and it's not just in New England, it's in a lot of other major fight towns as well, but New England is definitely a prime example of what can be done. You can get a lot of fights in a short amount of time if you're willing to just step in there and you stay healthy, for one, which is big, and you stay active. You can get to 10-0, 11-0 in about 2 years. I mean, Alejandro Paulino did it, a fighter that we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, had a rapid climb, and sometimes you got to fight on some of those smaller shows against winnable opponents, but just rack up the W's and just get that ring experience. And that may be the path for Bush now that he's signed with CS.
You want to stay in the public's eye. You don't want to see some fighters, they fight. They're only, 4 or 6 round fighters. They're fighting every 4 or 6 months. No, you want to fight every month if you can. You want to keep yourself in people's eyes. You want people to oh, you're fighting again? Oh, you're fighting again? Not when you're fighting. They want you want them to say, oh, you're fighting again. You want to continue boxing and building that record. More people see you, more promoters see you, and more time TV will grab you.
Round 3 in the books. We're halfway through this fight. Ray, what have you seen from Joe Bush so far? And you know, are you looking to see a little bit more?
Both guys are evenly matched. Joe Bush, I think I would like to see him double up on his jab. He's throwing single jabs, and he's reaching for him for that jab. He's not stepping in. You know, both fighters are staying apart from each other. Once in a while they get in there, they want to rumble, but the most staying apart from each other. I like to see him stepping with that jab. I always call it not just a 1-2 with your feet, I mean with your hands, but 1-2 with your feet. Stepping with your feet, 1-2.
Keenan Raymond, who has gotten through 3 rounds tonight, doing a little bit of what he does best, Ray, which is just hang in there and make it very tough for his opponents. And like we mentioned, Raymond is not a pushover. He's had some wins against some pretty good opponents. He's had a win against 3-0 Julian Baptiste. He had a win against 4-0 Mario Ramirez. And those were guys who were on a trajectory similar to Joe Bush, who probably thought, I can take this guy out. I can get the victory here. And they come to be a little bit more surprised when the bell rings when Raymond steps in there. And Raymond also had a draw against Kenny Larson last year, who was 7-0. So, you know, anything's possible. Raymond is not the I wouldn't call him the typical quote-unquote opponent, as they like to use in this sport. He's a guy that can come in here and get some W's too, and just been a tough kid all around. He's a great wrestler from in Cranston, Rhode Island, growing up. Great high school wrestler.
He's picking fights where he has the ability to win.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm looking at his record myself, you know, he's not just going in fights blind. He's picking fights that he can win, that he knows his style, and his style matches with them, and he could definitely win these fights. He took this fight also, like I said, they both got the similar styles. Just who's going to be more determined, who's going to throw more punches and back that person up.
You know, the scouting report on Bush was a guy with a lot of power, high motor, and a guy that also has a big following, and he brings a lot of people to the arenas, and that was one of the things also that drew Jimmy Birchfield, to his attention. It's a business, and you want guys who have strong followings. You want guys that can promote themselves at the same time, promote your company at the same time. Yeah. It's a win-win relationship.
What I see from Bush so far, like you said, volume. I haven't seen that. Power. I haven't seen that. The crowd. I've seen that.
Yeah, for sure.
I've seen the crowd.
And
I need him to step it up right now.
They're on pins and needles like we are, waiting to see something big here, and perhaps it's going to come. And there's a difference, Ray, right? There's a fine line between patience, because you and I always talk about being patient, but also maybe a reluctance at the same time. How do you tell the difference between the two? It's hard. It's not easy, right?
It's hard. What it could be right now is that, he's on the big stage right now with the Zone, CES, and that could be a little bit that, he's in the back room and, I'm on CES, I'm on the Zone. Oh, my God. That could have wore his gas out a little bit more. He's doing enough today to win, but this is a showing. It's a showing, and you've seen a little bit of Bush. I assure you, in due time, we're going to see a lot more better of this guy. He's going to sit down. He's going to do it. He's going to get comfortable with this. And the fighter, we've seen that with 4 knockouts, is going to come back.
30 seconds to go in round 4 here at Halloween Knockout, live on DAZN, presented by CES Boxing. And once again, Michael Parenti, Sucre Ray Oliveira bringing you all the action. You're watching Joe Bush in the white trunks taking on the game, Keenan Raymond in the black. And we're just about to get through 4 rounds here. And you're right, Ray. I think it's a very good point. It's a big stage for Joe Bush. It's a debut with a new promoter. You got a lot of fans here. You want to put on a show. And you're also on DAZN, which is the biggest streaming platform in pro boxing. So there's a lot on the line tonight.
But he's handling it well. He's not over-exerting himself. He's going at his pace right now. He's going to learn as it goes on. If you see that last round there was the best round he had right there, honestly. He let his hands go. As I was saying, I want to see his hands go. This round, he let those hands go. Yeah. He's putting the combinations together. He was backing Raymond up.
You see right there, too, Ray, changing levels, going to the body, going back upstairs, making Raymond think a little bit, and that's what you want to see. I think there's good patience on the part of Bush. I think, when it comes down to it, no matter what you want to see, at the end of the day, you don't want to go in, like you said, overexert yourself and get a little too wild, then you get caught, and sometimes the pressure to want to perform on a network like this, to perform on this platform, to perform in front of your fans can sometimes lead you to make a mistake if you're not thinking clearly.
Yeah, you already had the excitement, you know. I'm from where I'm from. I'm on his own. I'm on CES. He probably was working himself out in the back, and where his energy is probably calming down right now, and that's why those hands are going more rapidly and letting them go.
Round 5 underway. And Ray, let's be honest too. You and I like a good fight that goes the distance. We like to see guys get rounds that they need. Sometimes when they get too many knockouts early in their career, they don't build the ledger of experience that you would want coming into a bigger fight. So
Yes.
even at this pace, a good opponent like Keenan Raymond, who will give you some work but also make you work, may be the best thing for Joe Bush in the end.
We did enough shows where everyone knows how I am. When I see a card like this where the fights are going distance, I take my hat off to the promoter and the matchmaker who made these fights. I don't want to see a bout with all knockouts. I want to see a fight that goes on and keeps us entertained. And today, we have that. We definitely have that entertainment. You can see Bush right now. He's letting those hands go, putting the combinations together, and he's changing levels.
You make a good point about the matchmaking. I think the art of that craft has changed a lot through the years with the advent of BoxRec, the advent of the internet, being able to reach fighters in a variety of different ways. I think takes some of the creativity and the work out of matchmaking. You know, you don't have to scout opponents as much, just get a guy to sign a contract. But what CS does is carefully pick these opponents. They don't look at the Keenan Raymond and see a 2-10-3 record. They see a guy that's game. They see the style and how it matches up with the style of a Joe Bush. Right.
How many rounds he went.
And that's why the records with CS don't always matter. You're going to get competitive fights despite what the records are because they've done their homework.
Yes, definitely. It's not just the trainers and the fighters do their homework. The promoters, the matchmakers got to do their homework too. Because you got a lot of matchmakers out there now that anyone could be a matchmaker.
Everybody's a matchmaker.
They think they are anyway.
And let's be clear, there's a big difference between being a booking agent with a lengthy Rolodex and an actual matchmaker. And CS has employed some great ones through the years. 1 minute to go here in round number 5. Joe Bush continuing to put in that work against Keenan Raymond, but Raymond continuing to come forward. Raymond does a lot in there to make it work. He's going to mount his own offense. He's not just standing there covering up, feigning. He's in there throwing punches as well and doing what he has to do. And so this is why you can't let your guard down against a fighter like that.
No, you definitely can't. Because he's not going to hurt you with no punch, but he might just sneak around out of there. Bush is definitely picking that pace up. You can see Raymond, he's got his mouth open. He's tiring out there.
Well, and that's what you talked about, Ray, the difference between the 4 and the 6 rounds. It may not seem like a lot on paper, but those 6 minutes can mean a lot.
1 round, 3 minutes. Some people can't even do 1 round on the bag.
I've heard Jimmy Birchfield say that a lot. You go in there and hold your hands up for 3 minutes and see how you feel at the end of that 3-minute round. 5 rounds in the books here at Halloween Knockout. Michael Parenti joined by Sucra, Ray Oliveira, bringing you all the action live on the zone, and it's been a great card so far and still have so much more to go. The CES debut of Mike Fontanez. We've got Francis Hogan and Elvin Ayala down the road as well, and of course the main event with Rashidi Speedy Ellis, one of the 3 big new acquisitions to the CES roster that we've been talking about so much tonight. So
can't wait to see Francis and Ayala. You know, they were just teammates on TCB. Now they're fighting each other.
You know, I love seeing these matchups where these veteran fighters who are making a comeback later in their career, going up against the young up-and-comer, you know, who has the decided edge there? It's not as easy to pick by just looking on paper. You know, it can be a very difficult matchup to guess, and I'm always interested to see if an Elvin Ayala can dig deep into that well and find a little bit left to go in there against a guy like Hogan.
Can we get the old Elvin Ayala for 1 day? Not 1 round. 1 day.
Is it the old Elvin Ayala or just an old Elvin Ayala?
Yes.
Right? Think about that.
Yes.
There's a difference there. So we'll see how that goes later on today. But right now we're in round number 6. 6th and final round between Keenan Raymond in the black trunks and Joe Bush in the white. Bush again making his CES debut. Fight number 5 as a pro. And Raymond doing what he does best. He's hanging in there and giving Bush some work.
I love how Bush, you know, the last round 5, and this round, he's fighting beautiful backing up. You know, the first 4 rounds, he was backing up and wasn't throwing no punch. He was just letting Raymond walk into him. Now, Raymond's walking in, but as he's walking in, he's getting caught with punches.
Bush has done a good job of keeping a steady pace in this fight, and Raymond has done a good job of coming forward and making Bush have to work and think. It's not just a punching bag type scenario.
Yes.
Bush is in there, and he's having to work, and he's having to defend like you would expect in a tough fight. He's had to do it for 5+ rounds.
Bush has definitely kept this pace 6 rounds.
Looking forward to seeing what CES Boxing does in this neck of the woods here. This is a very untapped market in New England for pro boxing, and there are some opportunities here. And now when you have a roster that's so diverse as CES's roster is, you have fighters from Connecticut. It's almost like they have 3 divisions. They've got a Rhode Island division, they've got a Connecticut division, and they've really built up this Massachusetts division through the years. It's something that doesn't get talked about all that often. They've really never had a deep stable of fighters from Massachusetts and the Boston area, and that has changed with these acquisitions here. Now, Fontanez is from New Hampshire, but it's almost right on the border, so you almost count that as the territory.
Well, the CES did have 3 fighters from New England.
Well, that's
they
true.
just fought a lot in Rhode Island, which was Scott Pemberton,
Yourself?
Jason Pius, and myself.
And you know what? Since then, it kind of was a period where you didn't see the Boston guys coming out to CES for whatever reason, and now, it's a revival of sorts, and Bush could be also one of those guys who leads that revival, fighting out of Melrose, Mass.
And see, I named those 3 fights, but we're more closer. Rhode Island was 20, 30 minutes away. Where in Boston, you got to drive another hour, 2 hours away. But it's good to come out here and grab these fighters and give their love out here.
And you want to bring new fans to the arena every single time, and
Yes.
that's what CS does. It's not just about bringing fans one time, it's about bringing a fan for the first time and having he or she as a returning customer down the road. And it goes back to
We
building
want our
household
fans not
names.
to just cover fighters like Bush. We want our fighters, the same Bush fans go over and watch Paulino.
Absolutely.
Go over and watch, all these other fighters and see our fighters and see that we have a stable of great fighters.
Jimmy Birchfield has always looked at CS as the remaining team sport in Rhode Island. When the Pawtucket Red Sox minor league baseball team moved to Worcester, he said, hey, we are a pro franchise. You've got pro athletes. They are a team. They're stable, and they go out there every time and they give it their all. And here is the final bell. 6 rounds in the books between Joe Bush and Keenan Raymond. Great job by both fighters. But again, Ray, it looked like Joe Bush just tonight, I think, dictated the pace from round number 1, and he had Keenan Raymond fighting his fight, which is exactly what Joe Bush wants.
I gave Raymond 1 round, and Bush 5 of those rounds there, Bush fought a great fight after 5 and 6. You can see him putting his punches together. And Raymond was walking him down, but he was walking into punches. When in the beginning, Raymond was walking him down, and Bush wasn't gonna let those hands go. But you can see here, he's letting those hands go. He's giving them angles, changing his height. He was the better in shape person too.
A performance like this, I think it's good for both fighters. Bush comes in here and for all intents and purposes, gets another victory, keeps moving up the ladder. And for a guy like Keenan Raymond, he goes there and he hangs with a up-and-coming prospect and a guy that's being marketed as, the next great star of the promotion. To go in there and do that, other promotions will tap into a Keenan Raymond and bring him on board. Come on and fight. Keenan Raymond can stay busy and build a good side hustle out of boxing. It's not obviously going to be a career for him, and we know he's not going to become a world champion. But he can be a very viable fighter, and guys can build small careers out of that. They can build I call it a side hustle.
Frankie Randall.
Exactly. So
Frankie Randall did.
Credit to both fighters. I thought Raymond did a good job, like you said, of hanging in there and mixing. It wasn't just a guy covering up. He was in there. He was throwing punches. He made Bush have to back up a bit and make Bush think. And I think that's exactly what Bush's team wanted. We want to go in there and get a W, no question about it. But we want to have to work for it.
You want some rounds in him, and you see that he's just not a fighter coming to throwing bombs. He backed up throwing punches.
Gentlemen, let's hear it for Joe Bush and Keenan Raymond. 6 hard-fought rounds. Let's go to the scorecards. Judge Ken Volvic sees about 58-56. Judge Joe Appice scores about 59-55. And Judge Robert Penagos sees about 59-55. All to your winner by unanimous decision. And still undefeated, Joe All right, Oceanside, I'm joined here by your winner, Joe. 6 tough rounds tonight. Your first 6-rounder, you went all the way to the final bell, walking away with a victory. How are we feeling after going 6?
Could use a cheeseburger.
He needs a cheeseburger. Who in here is going to buy Joe Bush a victory cheeseburger? Joe, your first fight here, worked with Jimmy Birchfield as a CES team. Different experience here, going 6 rounds. Tough opponent, game fight for sure. You get all your fans here today. What's going through your mind?
I'm very grateful that I'll be on the show with Jimmy. I'm glad about the new signing deal. It's always been my dream to fight on TV, so it's hard not to be anything but grateful. Jimmy, thank you so much for having me on the show. We're going to take tonight as just a learning experience. We got 6 rounds. We've been looking for rounds, and that's what we got tonight. So I'm happy with the results.
Promoter Jimmy Birchfield, when you had the opportunity here to work with Joe Bush and sign him, you said that this is a special type of fighter, but an even more special type of man. So talk to us about what Joe Bush means.
This was a very good fight for Joe. He went 6 tough rounds. We got to compliment his opponent. We got to compliment his team and his coaches and all of you to come out and see Joe Bush tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, still undefeated, Joe Bush.
Well, once again, Ray, Joe Bush kind of echoing the same sentiment as us. They wanted some rounds tonight, and they were able to get them, and a good performance. And, hey, look, the road is pretty clearly paved for him to move forward. He's at 5-0 now. He's 27 years of age, and perhaps at some point toward the end of the year, we'll see what happens. He's going to have some opportunities.
Yeah, that's what every trainer wants. They want to get rounds. They love knockouts, but that's what the crowd loves. But the trainer always says we need rounds. We get them not just in the gym. We need it in the fight. I want to see what you can do.
But once again, Joe Bush improving to 5-0 with the victory tonight in his CS debut. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us on DAZN. We've got Mike Fontanez and Bruno Leonardo Romay coming up, and an exciting 6-round super welterweight bout. Mike Fontanez joining the party, making his CES debut tonight here at Oceanside Rivera. So much action in store. 4 more big fights to bring you, including later on tonight our main event with Speedy Rashidi Ellis. So it's been a great night thus far, and you've seen some of the new faces for CES, some of that new generation of fighters that are making their way to the top of the mountain. And CS once again continues to stack the roster and bring in a lot of new talent, Ray, and we've got a nice glimpse of it tonight. It's been good.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait to see Mike Fontanez. Want to see if the hype is real about the lefty.
Fontanez on deck. You've also got Francis Hogan, another guy that we almost forgot about tonight to mention with his record, 17-0. He's on the doorstep of something big. And, of course, we have the main event with Rashidi Ellis. So a lot more action to come. Don't go anywhere. We thank you for joining us tonight on DAZN. If this is your first time tuning in here with CES Boxing, thank you for being a part of what we bring to the table. It's been a very exciting night thus far, being here at the packed house, the Oceanside Rivera. It's very much a Halloween theme. We talked about it being Halloween knockout. It's been a lot of fun. More spooky happenings on the way. Stay with us. Good evening, fight fans. Michael Parenti joining you here at the beautiful Oceanside Revere in Massachusetts. And I'm with a few of my closest friends on a frightful night as we bring you Halloween Knockout.
Let's meet the next fighters coming to the ring. Bruno Leonardo Romay.
Coming all the way from Buenos Aires, Argentina, Bruno Leonardo Romay making his way to the ring. And this is Bruno's first fight since July. Comes in with a big record, 22-14, 19 wins by knockout. He's 36 years of age. He's a southpaw, so it can be a little bit tricky, and we'll talk a little bit more about that going forward in the fight. Romay is one of those journeyman-type fighters, Ray, that you got to keep an eye on and watch out for. I know what people may think when they see the Argentinians. They've kind of become almost the new Mexican fighter that's come to the States, right, to be the quote-unquote opponent. But a guy like Romay, anytime I see a lot of knockouts, I'm always skeptical about what they bring to the table. You can talk about level of competition, but knockouts are knockouts, and there's got to be something behind those fists to lead to that many knockouts.
Exactly, and you can see by the way the music is playing, nice, calm, relaxed. That's the kind of fighter he is.
Yeah.
Nice, calm, relaxed.
Well, when you've had, 36 pro fights, you can be a little bit relaxed getting into the ring, and perhaps this is just a gentle introduction to perhaps a beast when the bell rings.
And his opponent, Mike Fontanez.
And now coming in from Nashua, New Hampshire, 9-0 record, 5 of those wins by knockout. Another southpaw on the ledger, 28 years of age, Mike Fontanez, making his classic entertainment and sports debut. Ray, we've seen him from Team Combat League. We've seen some of his other fights. Give us a little bit of a scouting report on Fontanez.
He's exciting. He's a fighter you want to see. Got a big smile. He's a big fighter. That left-hand stance. He reminds me of almost like a Hector Camacho, but a lot bigger.
Brings a lot of that same flair to the table. We've seen some of the work he's done in TCL. He was 4-3 with the Boston Butchers this year. Had a real nice showing, and we'll talk a little bit about this as we get into the fight, but really became enamored with the CES product, and that's what's led him here tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is 6 rounds in the junior middleweight division. Fighting out of the blue corner, hailing from the capital city of Argentina, Buenos Aires, with a professional record of 22 wins, 14 losses, with 19 wins coming by way of knockout. He weighed in at 158 pounds. Bruno Leonardo Romay. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. He hails from the Gate City, Nashua, New Hampshire. His record, perfect, with 9 wins, no losses, with 5 big wins, coming by way of knockout. He weighed in at 158 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Blessed Southpaw Fontanez!
Your instructions in the dressing room. Right here is good. Right here is good. I expect a clean fight. Good luck.
Once again, we're joining you live on DAZN Boxing, bringing you Halloween Knockout, presented by CES Boxing, Michael Parenti and Sucre Ray Oliveira, bringing you all the action ringside. And tonight we are just about to get underway with the long-anticipated CES debut of the southpaw Mike Fontanez, of course, in the black and red trunks, taking on Bruno Romay in the blue and the white. And Fontanez is a guy, again, who came over from Team Combat League. He was scouted by the CES Brain Trust, Jimmy Birchfield, and matchmaker Pat Sullivan. They added Fontanez to the roster for TCL Season 2. That was the Butcher's debut season. Fontanez did well and became enamored with what the CES product could bring to the table and saw an opportunity to work with a promoter long-term and find an opportunity to take that next step in his career.
Very rarely you see two lefties in there
Yeah.
with each other. You know, you always see the orthodox, so it's probably weird for both of them. I got a lefty in front of me.
It's typically a right-hander trying to adjust to an awkward southpaw style, but instead here we have two southpaws going toe-to-toe. It's so hard just to find two in the same building. Never mind get them in the ring together, but here we are tonight.
I like to see Fontanez pick the pace. You know, pick a much faster pace. His opponent probably wants that slow, easy pace to work on, but Fontanez's got to pick it up. Leonardo just wants it slow. He's old school. He wants it slow.
Well, Romay's a guy who's run into some tough luck of late. He's lost his last 3 fights, but he does have a knockout win over Anthony Hines, who was a teammate of Fontanez's on the TCL Boston Butchers roster. Hines is the guy who's made his rounds throughout the New England circuit as well. He's had fights everywhere, Romay has. Michigan, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Florida.
Beautiful uppercut by Fontanez.
Romay's a guy who's fought almost everybody. He's fought Alantez Fox, Philly prospect Tamir Smalls, and now he goes in against another prospect in Fontanez, who's now starting to put the pedal to the metal here, Ray.
He's picking the pace, like I said. He's got to make a faster pace, and he's definitely picking this pace up. That left hand and that left uppercut is connecting. There he goes again, that left uppercut.
Nice 3-4 punch combo there by Fontanez. Circling his opponent, using the entire ring. You know, Fontanez's career arc is similar to Joe Bush. He's 28 years old. Bush is 27. The difference being is that Fontanez started a year earlier, so he's had an opportunity to get a few more fights under his belt. But another fighter who is right there on the cusp in that age bracket where you want to start making that push.
Definitely. And Fontanez also got, he has like 30, 40 amateur bouts.
Yes.
So, you know, he got some skill behind him.
Fontanez lived in New York when he was younger, and credits his love for boxing with being robbed at the age of 13. Went into a boxing gym, he found some solace and says, you know what, this is my path. And he said, you know, I hold a grudge. If I ever see that robber, I'm going after him. He has promised to this day, but sometimes it's, you know, that's how these stories start in the ring, right?
Yep.
Boxing becomes a refuge for a young, you know, a teenager or a youth in the area, and it becomes a career choice. And
There goes that,
yeah.
that left uppercut.
Nice left right there at the bell by Fontanez. Very strong opening round, Ray.
Definitely. I like to see Fontanez, he controlled this fight here with his right jab, and he was picking him up with straight left and the left uppercut. I like to see him in the second round. Don't do so much moving. Stay there. You see right here, that left hand is connecting all day on him. Yes, he's giving him angles, but he's falling. Ramirez is falling right into him. So Fontanez says, let's stay right there. Stay in front of him and just let them hands go. He's there for the picking. You know, earlier I said you want rounds. I don't want no rounds right now. Let's get him out.
See Alex Rivera in the corner of Mike Fontanez, also the head trainer for Rashidi Ellis. He's been with Ellis his entire career. So you see these New England connections, Mark Agaro, Alex Rivera, both who are coaches for the Boston Butchers.
Yep.
It's almost as if they brought the entire Butcher roster over to CS. And that we talked so much about TCL tonight, but that Team Combat League was really almost an untapped resource for CS to dive into some new talent.
It was their interview.
Yeah, it really was.
It was their interview. We seen it. We liked it. We signed them.
Opportunity to see some players that they hadn't really seen up close and personal. Guys who were fighting for other promotions in the area, and they got a taste of CS life and vice versa. And it seems like a match made in heaven for a lot of these fighters on the card tonight.
Roman keeps reaching with that jab of his, and that's why Fontanez is just dropping right over with his left hand. That's why I wouldn't want to move to stay right there.
And Fontanez, yeah, he's done a good job, right? Just kind of circling Romay, looking for an opportunity. But also putting together nice combinations.
One round was good enough to go. Get him out. See, he hit him with 4 jabs right there. Forget moving. Just move the head. Don't move the feet.
Romay, like a lot of other fighters who come from another country and they come to the United States and they find the money opportunities here on U.S. soil. He was a fighter who basically started his entire career in his home country as Fontanez rips one to the body. Now he's made his rounds in the U.S. since 2021, and he's been on the short end of the stick most of the time. And Fontanez trying to keep that streak going to 4 while he gets win number 10.
Fontanez is just going to move forward and let those hands go. That left hand is hitting all day. No reason to back up.
Minute 20 to go in round number 2. This one's scheduled for 6. Mike Fontanez in the black and red trunks making his CS debut. And there's a good 3-4 punch combo, Ray. Trying to go back to that uppercut again.
Let's see him to fake that left uppercut and come over with the left. Come over. Or fake with a right hook. Fontanez is definitely having his fun here. He's picking on pot with,
Ooh, big uppercut.
Beautiful left uppercut. He just got to come back with that right hook after it. Put them punches together.
Well, you're right, Ray. Sometimes they admire the handiwork of a great punch, but don't follow up with the second and third punch.
The other left hand. I always tell my fighters, if you hit them with the power hand, come back with the lead hand. It's going to put them to sleep.
16 seconds to go in round 2, and it does appear that Romay is there for the taking if Fontanez is able to let it go. Another good combination. And perhaps may catch him with a counter punch at some point when Romay throws that right hand. In any event, Ray, we're 2 rounds in the books, and so far, so good for Fontanez.
Fontanez is doing real good right now. You know, you showed your people what you could do. You showed the promoter what you could do. Now get him out.
Yeah.
No reason to back up. Just, you know you're in control. Every punch you're hitting this guy with, you're hurting him, and you're letting him last. Now get him out of here. You let him last 2 rounds. You played with your food. Now swallow it.
Fontanez is one of those well-traveled fighters who splits his time between gyms. He's from Nashua, so he works with Muhammad Brooks at the Nashua PAL, and then he comes back to Revere and trains with Alex Rivera. So 4 times a week he's going back and forth to get the best sparring he can possibly get and getting the best of both worlds from different coaches, and it's really paid off for him. He's made, again, a very steady climb. TCL gave him an opportunity to take a little time off from the pro action and get some work in that format. He had 7 fights, which amounts to 7 rounds in TCL over the course of April and May. Now he's back to resume his pro career. And you know, Ray, you and I talked a lot about TCL here as we get into round number 3 and what that could do for a fighter. And some fighters use that as a vehicle before turning pro to get some work against pro-style fighters.
Yes.
Others, like Fontanez, use it to kind of stay busy between fights and maybe just sort of take a step back and plow out their next career move.
It could have been a bad thing. It turned out being a good thing for him. You know, like you said, he goes from gym to gym. I'm that kind of guy. I like fighters staying in one gym, one trainer.
Ooh.
See, look, he took a break there. Hit him with 2-punch combination. Keep backing him up. If you're hitting him, keep hitting him. Why stop?
There it is again. It feels like only a matter of time. If Fontanez really turns on the afterburners, he can end this fight in a matter of seconds.
I think he's in that mood where he knows what the fight is his, so let me give a show. But that's what things you don't want to do. You want to get him out.
Well, you and I have had that same opinion many times, Ray. That can lead to something dangerous.
It definitely can. And with a fighter like that, he's in there right now with 19 knockouts.
Sure.
Like you said, he didn't hit anybody. He hit people.
We've called a lot of fights and we've seen stranger things happen. So I'm always kind of wary and skeptical and never assume anything when that bell rings.
Can't read a book by its cover.
Fontanez said his goal by the end of the year is to get to double-digit wins, and a win tonight would do that, but get further into the schedule and possibly fight for a WC belt by the end of the year. One other thing about Jimmy Birchfield that we haven't mentioned on the broadcast is his relationship with the WBC and his ability to bring WBC championships to New England for many fighters. It started many years ago when he was the NABF Promoter of the Year. That's the WBC sister belt, but he's also secured youth titles for Jermaine Ortiz and silver titles for other fighters. And these opportunities can lead to bigger ones down the road. You get in the rankings, you get on the radar with the world's biggest sanctioning body. It's a blessing.
Look, I'll tell you, it takes a promoter to open that door.
Yep.
And CES and Jimmy Birchfield opens that door for you when you get there. If you give your effort, he's definitely going to give his effort.
That's exactly right. And it's something that Jimmy Birchfield has said many times before. He will work as hard as the fighter does.
Hardest working guy in the business. We always say that.
30 seconds to go here in round number 3. Fontanez, short jab to the body. That uppercut's been a big weapon for him. He's put together some decent combinations. Mostly 1-2 punch combos. In this round, though, a 3-punch combo right there. Just trying to break down Romay, and here comes some action now in this final 10 seconds.
He's finally opening up. That body work.
Body work always does the trick, Ray. Nice right hand at the bell. Romay thought it might have been a little late, and maybe he has a point, but Fontanez has been dominant and really turned it on there, Ray, in the last 25 seconds. Fontanez gives a nod, says, sorry, my bad.
He's a nicer guy than me. You walk over to my corner, you're getting hit.
As Ray will tell you, that's the cost of doing business, right? Here's some of the replay. And we didn't really quite see it there, but you see some of the work.
He's putting a combination together. He's working good, which he finally did, you know, but this is what I tell fighters all the time. I don't mind people bringing their records up.
Yes.
What I mind is when I look at a guy's record and he went the distance with you, that's a guy you should have got out. Not going the distance with, should have got out. I want to see Fontanez get this fight out. Yes, his opponent has a beautiful record. 19 knockouts on his record. Wouldn't this look even better if you knocked the guy out? Not with the discipline, but you knock the guy with a great record out.
No, listen. You and I know that the step up fights and the fights like this are a necessary evil in the sport. Whether you
Yes.
like it or not, you have to acknowledge it. You have to accept it. This is the way the sport has been built for a number of years, and maybe it's more prevalent now than it was before. Maybe we notice it more now.
Yes.
I'm not sure what to make of it. Oh,
Beautiful
big body
body
shot
shot.
there, and that will send Romay to his knees. Body work always does the trick, Ray. Romay beats the 10 count. Melissa Kelly checking in.
The older you get, the worse your body gets.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's going to continue, and that's going to be it. Melissa Kelly waves it off, and Mike Fontanez has his knockout victory. He has win number 10, and he has a victory in his CES debut.
Congratulations to him.
Take a look at the replay here, Ray.
You see, he's finally putting his punches together. He just stepped over, throw that right hook to the body, and down he went.
I love that move, Ray, stepping to the left and then unloading with that right hand to the body. You don't see a lot of guys fight on angles like that sometimes. I feel like it's a lost art now and then, but Fontanez made it look so fluid when he did it.
They call that you get off the line.
Yeah.
Get off the line. He got off the line, and when he got off the line, he threw as he got off the line. A lot of fighters get off the line and don't throw. He got off the line and threw.
Fantastic work and a great display of footwork by Fontanez. Sometimes it's those little details, Ray, that make a big difference. All you had to do was step over to the right. Romay never saw it coming. Right hand to the body, and that was all she wrote. So great job by Mike Fontanez to get the W in his CES debut here. And, promoter Jimmy Birchfield has to be happy. So far, his newcomer prospects have done the job, and Fontanez perhaps with the early candidate for knockout of the night here.
Yeah, we signed these gentlemen, and we want to see what they got. We don't want them to lose, so we might put like a little bit. We want them to win, but we want them to look good in their performance. And these guys are looking good. They're doing what they're supposed to do, what we came to do, and it's letting people know this is what up-and-coming out fighters look like and what they can do.
I agree, Ray, wholeheartedly. There is an opportunity for a step-up fight, and sometimes you want to just put on a show. And when you're on this platform in front of a new audience, an untapped market here in Revere, you're on the zone. You want to see these guys give their best effort and put on the best show possible, and you're getting the best of both worlds tonight. You're getting guys who are getting opportunities, they're getting some rounds, and they're also getting the W's, and that's what CES wants.
They should be happy. I ain't been in the zone yet. They are.
Fontanez getting a hug from his new promoter, Jimmy Birchfield. And with that, let's send it up to Pat Sullivan, who has the particulars on this fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Melissa Kelly stops the fight at 34 seconds in round number 4 to your winner by TKO and still undefeated, Mike Fontanez! All right, Mike. I'm joined here by the blessed southpaw, Mike Fontanez. A lot of respect for the opponent, Mike. Great performance right here from the first bell to the final punch. You seemed like you had a game plan and stuck to it, and I saw her after that last body punch. You turned around and pointed to your corner. This is something you guys thought about.
Yeah, of course. We work very hard, very, very hard. First off, all glory to God, because without him, can't do nothing. But Alex, man, he's a GOAT, bro. There's a reason he's in my corner. There's a reason he's with me. We work very hard. We practice it in camp. We practice it in the locker room, and we did it in the ring.
So last time you fought in this ring, in this arena, was for Team Combat. Like, you had the flu and won your one-round fight in TCL, but tonight, a little different story, same result. That smile says it all. You must be feeling great right now.
Yeah, man, I'm just blessed to be here, Like, life wasn't easy, so I'm just happy to do what I love, and I'm happy I got the platform. Thank you, DAZN. Thank you, CES, and line them up, baby. We ready for whoever.
So, Mike, you talked about your corner here. You also have this man in your corner, Jimmy Birchfield, Sr. He had a lot of trust in you to bring you into the team, to put you here on DAZN in your first fight with CES on a national platform. What does that mean to you?
Yo, everything. The way he treats us, it's different, man. I'm super grateful. Big thank you to Jimmy and CES, and shout out to you, Pat. Like I said, they managed us with TCL, and that's what made my decision to go with CES.
Mike Fontanez, still undefeated, now at 10-0. Let's hear it, Oceanside. Mike Blessed Southpaw Fontanez.
Once again, Mike Fontanez with the victory, knockout in round number 3, improving to 10-0. Big debut here for CS and a big showing here on DAZN for a Halloween knockout. Once again, Michael Parenti joined by Sucre Ray Oliveira. We are more than halfway through tonight's fight card. Still plenty of action to come, including our next bout in the super middleweight division. Irish prospect Tommy Hyde also looking for win number 10 against 0 losses. And then later on tonight, of course, Elvin Ayala and Francis Hogan, a bout that I'm waiting for. And then the main event with Rashidi Speedy Ellis against Brian Chavez. So we've seen a little bit of everything tonight, Ray. We're about to see a little bit more here as we get into the next bout. Tommy Hyde, Arrow Schwartz. Should be another war. Let's send it up to our ring announcer, Patrick Sullivan, to introduce both fighters.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's keep the action rolling and meet the next fighters. Coming from the blue corner, Arrow Schwartz.
Making his way to the United States from Germany for this bout, and this was a bout made on very short notice, Ray, as Schwartz, who always stays busy fighting for the second time this month. Schwartz comes in as a 5'11" southpaw, 30 years of age, 23-9-1. This is very interesting, Ray, because Tommy Hyde was preparing for an orthodox right-hander at the last minute. The original opponent fell through, and now he steps in there with the southpaw. That can be tough to adjust to late in the camp.
It definitely is. You know, you're in training camp, you're writing for your regular orthodox fighter, and then boom, I got a lefty. Now he's on the outside of me. He's power hand in front, and he got 15 knockouts out of 23 wins. This is a total different fight here. So I got to sit down and do my math real quick.
Schwartz kind of cut from the same cloth as those well-traveled foreign fighters who have a lot of knockouts on their resume, a lot of fights under their belt. They always come to perform. They're always ready, always in the gym, and that's how guys like this get to 33 fights when they're only 30 years old. It's because they stay active. It's because they stay ready.
And his opponent, Tommy Hyde.
And now making his way to the ring is the Irish prospect, the 25-year-old 6'4" giant, Tommy Hyde. He is 9-0, 6 wins by knockout. This will be his first fight since June. This will be his second fight with CS. He actually fought at Mohegan Sun, had a 4th-round knockout win over Noah Kidd not that long ago. He's managed by his father, Gary Hyde, 3-time Irish national champion, has all the tools. He's got the look. He's got everything working for him. And tonight gets a little bit of a challenge against a well-traveled veteran fighter with a big punching power. So this is going to be a pretty good test for Tommy Hyde.
It's supposed to be, and hopefully, you know, but with the way Hyde is, you know, he's extraordinary. He's very patient, smart, hard hitter, and he got a beautiful jab on him.
All right, let's set it up to Pat Sullivan to introduce both fighters.
This bout is 8 rounds in the super middleweight division. Let's meet the fighters. Fighting out of the blue corner from Karlsruhe, Germany, with a big professional record of 23 wins, only 9 defeats, with 15 big wins coming by way of knockout. He weighed in at 167 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, Arrow Thunder Schwartz. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, coming all the way from Cork, Ireland, with a perfect professional record of 9 wins, no losses, with 6 big wins coming by way of knockout. He weighed in at 169 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tommy the Governor Hyde!
Gentlemen, moving over the rules. Protect yourself at all time. Obey my commands at all time. I'm going to set up the belt line. This, from above here, is okay. From here, it's okay. These trunks are a little too high, so the belt line will be here. All right? Anything over there will be good. Okay, good luck to both of you. All right?
And we're ready to go. 8 rounds tonight in the super middleweight division between Tommy Hyde and the Irish flag trunks and Arrow Schwartz, who is in the white and with the black trim. This should be a very interesting fight, Ray, as we mentioned. There's a couple of things at play here. You have Arrow Schwartz, a southpaw last-minute replacement opponent when Hyde was preparing for a right-hander for most of the night. And then you have Tommy Hyde working for the first time with a new coach, Lee Beard, which was a logistical move. Tommy Hyde wanted to be able to train closer to Manchester, closer to Ireland, after spending the last couple of years in the States. So he's switching coaches and working with somebody new. And Ray, take me through that dynamic a little bit about working with a new coach. Is there an adjustment period in the ring? Do in the gym tutelage is one thing, but you want to see how you react to the fighter, how the fighter reacts to you when the bell rings.
It's definitely up to the coach. You know, when I get new fighters that have been with other trainers, I don't want to change anything right away. This is Hyde's first fight with his trainer, so hopefully he didn't try to change nothing, just try to work with what he got, keep the same methods of what Hyde had, and don't change nothing right away. You know, Hyde already got a beautiful jab and a beautiful straight right hand. What do you want to change there? What is the, you know, do you want to add your style? Hopefully he went to the right trainer that keeps the same style and just get more momentum in throwing everything. I mean, with Hyde 6'4", I ain't changing nothing. At this weight class, 6'4", and he has a beautiful jab in that right hand. You know, fighting a lefty is going to be hard, but, you know, with that right hand he has, as long as he keeps using that jab, it's going to help him to land that straight right hand.
I think one of the big things about getting used to a new coach, and you can kind of give me some insight on this, is what's going to happen when the fighter faces adversity for the first time. What do you say to that fighter, and how do you gauge that fighter's reaction? How do you know when to pull back a little bit or when you got to dig a little bit deeper?
You got to learn that in the gym.
Yeah.
The coach has to pick that up in the gym. He ain't going to learn none of that in a fight because
it's too late, right?
Yeah, it's too late. You know, you got to learn that in the gym. What do I got in this guy? You got to call the ex-trainer, or not the ex-trainer, ask family or friends. You know, what kind of person is he when he's, you know, is he a talkative person, quiet person? The person you are in the street, not in the street, but with your family, is the same person in that ring.
And make no mistake, you could have, as a trainer yourself, you could have 3 fighters in the card and you handle them all differently.
Yes, right? Yes. I got 7 amateur fighters, and I'm a psychiatrist dealing with
a lot of personalities you're balancing, right?
Yeah. I thought it was 7 fighters, but it's more like 14 personalities.
Well, a lot of things happen when that bell rings, and Tommy Hyde trying to show his best work and put his best foot forward tonight. Big height advantage over Arrow Schwartz, and I don't know if we have the listing for Schwartz's height. That's 5'11 and a half, so you're talking 5 feet, maybe 5 inches, maybe half a foot on a good hair day. Unexpected lights shining brightly here all of a sudden in the arena. Hyde just trying to get through this first round against Schwartz, and a little bit of a feeling out process here, because again, as we mentioned, Schwartz is a southpaw, and Hyde spent probably the majority of his camp preparing for a right-hander. But, Ray, is there something to it here as the bell rings for round 1? As a trainer, would you encourage a fighter to mix in a little southpaw work if you can, or do you just focus on the opponent?
I wouldn't even have done that.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is 6 rounds. I am not worried about your opponent. I'm worrying about you. Just keep doing what you're doing. And if he's on I always tell my fighters, I love southpaws. I don't care if his foot's on the outside or inside. Keep using that jab. If he's on the outside, jab right hand. If he's in the inside, jab left hook. That's the only difference you got to tell him. And as soon as I say it, you do it. When I say 1-3, right away. When I say 1-2, right away. Don't hesitate, right away. So I don't see much difference for Hyde. He's so calm, so tall, and that jab is so beautiful. Keep using that jab. He's going to walk into your right hand.
Hyde looks like the kind of fighter, if you could build one in a lab, that's what you would come up with, right?
Exactly. You're exactly right. I'm looking at him, watching him. I'm like, he's a typical kind of fighter. I mean,
he's got all the tools, and he's got his father managing him in his corner, and that long lineage of great Irish fighters, and he's looking to become the next one. So
the only thing I want to see, can he take a punch? That's the hard thing to see, if they can take a punch.
And that comes with a step up in level of competition. And Schwartz does have punching power. Again, as
Yes.
we mentioned, 15 knockouts of his 23 wins. So he has the ability to let his hands go and potentially catch you sleeping.
And
as
Schwartz
Hyde
did
works the
catch
body.
him with his right hand the last round. And you know, it didn't hurt Hyde or nothing, but he caught him. I want to see if you could catch like 4 or 5 of them, how hard your chin can take it.
Schwartz has been in there with some good competition, as we mentioned. Fights against Yuri Cedeno, Daniel Blancas. He's a former WBC and WBO youth title challenger. So been around for a long time. At 30 years, again, we mentioned having 33 pro fights at 30 years of age just shows a level of activity that a lot of fighters say don't have.
Schwartz doesn't have a typical European style. You use that European style, they sit more down and they come in with their head, or they bounce, either or. Schwartz is relying to lay on the ropes, which I think is a bad thing to do with Hyde.
Yeah, a guy that Hyde, like you look and you see it right there, Ray. Big right hand that landed almost pushed Schwartz through the ropes.
Yeah, it's like him hammer a nail. The other nail, and he's hammering you into the ground.
And Hyde does a good job of not punching down. He still maintains a pretty good level.
Yes.
Because sometimes those tall fighters, they punch down and it's ineffective. And nice shot to the body. Right, even though it doesn't look like there's a ton of energy exerted, there's a lot behind these punches by Tommy Hyde.
You could tell by his shoulders.
And the reaction is Schwartz, who just seems to be getting pushed back every time he gets hit. And now Hyde's got him in the corner, and down goes Schwartz. He's going to take a knee, likely from that body work.
So I'm talking to his corner. I don't know why. He's asking his corner for something.
Bouncing up and down on his feet. Looks like he wants to keep going. Referee's going to send him to the neutral corner. So 38 seconds to go here in round number 2. Hyde scores the knockdown, albeit a flash knockdown, but it counts the same.
I was wondering what Schwartz was saying to his corner as he was down. I thought it was the mouthpiece, but he had it in his mouth.
It was still there. Hyde very methodical. I want to say mechanical. Sometimes that word can sound negative, but I mean it in a positive. Right? It's very machine-like. It's kind of got a Ivan Drago of Rocky fame looked in, where the way he throws the punch and the way he moves.
What you're saying is what he's doing is working. Why change it? Keep doing what you're doing, working with the jab, right hand, left hook to the body. It's working, no reason to change. That's mechanical and it's working. Sometimes you can say mechanical and it's not working.
Sometimes mechanical means robotic, and robotic isn't always a good thing. But in this case, I think mechanical, I agree. You did a better job explaining it than I did. It's sticking with the game plan and what works and not getting unnerved by anything, and that's what Hyde has done. And Ray, as we go into the third round here at Halloween Knockout, Hyde looks like he has had more than 9 pro fights. He's had a deep amateur background. He looks very mature in there.
He definitely is. He looks more with a guy who has only 9 fights. Looks like a guy that's ready to step up for a belt, to do something, ready to set for 10 rounds and challenge for something.
As we mentioned, Hyde is a 3-time Ireland national champion. He's got good training in his corner. He's got family in his corner, which is always important. And he's making a good, steady climb here. And he's had
this, to get along with.
Yes. I was going to say, you have a little bit of a say in that, right, Ray? You've been down that road before, so. But Tommy Hyde seems to, so far, have a great working relationship with his father. Jimmy Birchfield, by the way, has always mentioned, I've heard him talk to so many players, it's like, there have been a lot of father-son relationships in this sport. Some work, some don't. And it's unfortunate when they don't work, but it can be a great thing when they do work. We've seen it really at all levels.
Yes. Definitely.
Round 3 underway. This one, again, scheduled for 8. Michael Parenti, Sucre, Ray Oliveira bringing you all the action on DAZN.
See, Hyde shots, why I like Hyde, and you said mechanical, I love it because a lot of his punches are hitting Schwartz's arms, but they're hurting. They're still working. I always tell fighters that, keep hitting their arms. You keep knocking on that door, it's going to open. So he's throwing those punches, he's landing on his shoulders, his biceps, and then one is sneaking in. And that's the one that dropped him.
And he's very mechanical without being stiff or rigid. His punches are fluid, his movement is good. Schwartz let a couple of shots go there.
But again, Hyde just walks right through him.
Nice jab. Two-punch combo following up the jab. You know, Schwartz using those jabs, kind of paws it out there from time to time as a distance finder, but he always follows up right there with
Beautiful.
something hard.
See?
And there it is. Right hand down the middle. I'd be
Like
surprised.
I said,
Yeah,
you
Schwartz
keep
is
knocking on that door, it's going to open.
Schwartz crawling over to his corner. And that's going to do it. They're going to wave it off. And wisely so. Schwartz took a right hand down the pipe. And again, Ray, we were just talking about that right before that right hand. We're talking about that jab, setting it up, and he delivers almost right on cue.
Like I kept saying, you keep knocking on that door, it's going to open. A lot of fighters will knock on that door. All right, I want to get around, though. I want to get around. Why do you want to go around to the back door? Just keep knocking on the door. They're going to open it. And he opened it. And that straight right here hitting the button.
Those dance moves by Hyde, he's not rigid at all. Here's a replay, Ray, of that third round knockout. Yep, that
Straight down the middle.
Yeah.
He punched right through his hands. As
Just
you can
kind of
see.
feign the jab a little bit. Yep, there it is, bang.
Boom.
Brilliant 1-2 combination, starting with the left jab, a kiss from Pops in the corner.
You weaken the defense and some sort of dance. Not the Macarena.
Tommy Hyde enjoying it, the fans is loving it. And Tommy Hyde scores the knockout victory. So for the second fight in a row, we have a 9-0 prospect improving his record to 10-0 with a knockout victory. This time it's Tommy Hyde who gets it done. And 25-year-old, 6'4" right-hander, all the backing in the world and all the opportunities, and we'll see how this goes for him. You know, he has not signed, as far as to my knowledge, has not signed any long-term deal with a promoter. Very much a free agent and maybe one of the hottest free agents on the market.
He better sign somewhere because the kid got talent and he needs someone else to open that door. That can't open every door.
I agree. It's hard to be a well-traveled fighter for too long.
Yes.
Usually a well-traveled fighter is the journeyman fighter.
Yep.
Who at the end of his career is bouncing from city to city, state to state, town to town. But in Gary Hyde's case, you know, perhaps he now goes back to Ireland, goes back to Manchester or the UK, and maybe he'll get a string of fights there and then perhaps come back to US soil at some point. But wherever he goes, he brings a following, as you can see. So he almost has a home everywhere he fights. He did another great job tonight. Let's send it up to Pat Sullivan with the particulars.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, referee Marcel Varela calls a stop to the fight at 1 minute and 20 seconds in the third round. For your winner by TKO, Tommy the Governor Hyde! All right, Tommy, still undefeated, up to Big 10-0. But I'll tell you, you came all the way from Cork Island for this fight. But something about fighting in Boston, you still feel at home, don't you?
So look at the crowd here. It's all Irish. We're the best supporters in the world. I'm so proud to be Irish. And it's brilliant fighting in such a sporting city like Boston. It's the best city in the world, apart from Cork, Ireland.
Now, Tommy, let's talk about your opponent tonight. Arrow Shorts, he came to fight, and he had a lot of fights under his belt, way more fights than you have as a professional. So a lot of experience, but you broke him down pretty methodically from the first bell until the final knockout.
Yeah, he had a lot of experience. It's a late change of opponent. I was supposed to fight an orthodox fighter. Now it's a soapbox, but I've a lot of experience, so it wasn't much of a difference to me. But great fight, and I'm delighted with the performance, delighted with the knockout, and I'm delighted to have such an unreal support from everyone here in Boston.
Tommy, you got a bright future in the sport ahead of you. What do you say you come back and do this again in March, right around St. Patrick's Day?
We'll have to do it. I want to be top of the bill next time. Ah!
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner and still undefeated, Tommy Hyde!
All right, you love to see it. Tommy Hyde, he can talk, he looks the part, he does it all in the ring, and he got a big knockout win tonight, improving to 10-0. And you know, could be back here at some point. St. Patrick's Day in Boston is unlike any experience you will find in the world. You bring a fighter like Tommy Hyde here, you will pack a place like Oceanside Revere.
He has everything that any promoter would want. He just needs to put his damn name on that paper.
Yep.
You know, if he puts his name on that paper, he can see more heights are going to open for him, more things are going to happen.
I'm sure Jimmy Birchfield will be sending some more gift baskets his way and try to sweeten the pot a little bit. Coming up next, 6 rounds between Francis Hogan and Elvin Ayala. It should be a good one. We have so much more to come on DAZN. Stay with us.
I'm Francis Hogan. Everyone calls me Frank the Tank. I'm from Weymouth, Massachusetts. I'm 17-0. I got 15 knockouts.
My name is Elvin Ayala. My record is 29-13-1. Originally from Reading, Pennsylvania. You know, I've been doing this for a long time. Took some time off, but I'm back in it.
Elvin Ayala, he's got a solid record. He's a solid guy, but I think I'm going to take him out once I figure him out. I know this place is going to be rocking.
I'm glad that I'm going against somebody like Frank. Got a great record. You know, he's strong, he's ready to go, and I'm here too. So we want to do this.
It's tank time, baby.
You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a beautiful fight.
Welcome back to DAZN Boxing Halloween Knockout, brought to you by CES Boxing. Michael Parenti, joined by my broadcast partner, Sucre Ray Oliveira. It's been an amazing night. I'm really still buzzing off those last 2 fights. Mike Fontanez and Tommy Hyde coming in at 9-0, looking to get to 10-0 and keep that perfect record alive. Both guys scored knockout victories. They both did it in a different fashion, but you love to see fighters come in, Ray, taking that step-up challenge and putting their foot on the gas pedal.
I'm sorry.
No worries. Hey, listen, we're live with you all night, so we got plenty of insight to give you. We got another big fight coming up with Elvin Ayala and Francis Hogan. Could be kind of a passing of the torch. Sometimes you see that in this sport. The older veteran fighter may hand off the reins to the young up-and-comer. But Francis Hogan is a guy who's been around for quite some time. He's 17-0. Elvin Ayala at 43. We're going to get a chance to see what he has left in the tank, if anything at all. You know, sometimes, you know, we talked about before this, Ray.
Yep.
Your worst opponent's Father Time, right?
Yeah.
Father Time, as
No one
Rocky
beats
Balboa
him.
said, he's undefeated, right? You can't beat Father Time. Can Elvin Ayala turn back the clock against a Francis Hogan? If so, what does he have to do?
He can't wait. He
No.
has to go after Francis Hogan and make him fight. You know, Father Time, you get 8 rounds. You have 8 rounds in you to outbox him. More likely, no. So you just got to go out there, make Francis Hogan fight in a phone booth and just bully him. You can't sit back and wait, but is that the right thing to do against somebody like Francis Hogan?
It's a real tough sell. You look at the tail of the tape here. Both guys coming in at 159 on the nose at yesterday's weigh-in. The age difference is almost a reversal. 24 years of age,
Yep.
Francis Hogan. 43 years of age, Elvin Ayala. Some will say it's being older. Some will say it's experience. We never really know how it's going to go, but we're excited to see it finally unfold and manifest itself in the ring. And with that, we're going to send it back up to the ring. Pat Sullivan has our official fighter introductions.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the co-feature bout of the evening. Making his way to the ring, Elvin Ayala.
And here he comes, Elvin Ayala, originally from Reading, Pennsylvania, now fighting and living in New Haven, Connecticut. 43 years of age, 5'11" right-hander. Hasn't fought as a pro since 2019, but he did have a short return to action with Team Combat League on very, very short notice. He had 2 fights, Ray. You and I saw them both against Ray Robinson, and we both noticed the same thing. We thought the footwork was a little bit off.
Yep.
Ray, you thought maybe his legs may be gone at that point. Now, in fairness, he more or less got off the couch to take those fights. He's had more of a proper training camp this time around. But let me ask you this question. Will you be able to tell early on if Ayala has anything left?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. You know, his walk down to the ring, you can tell if he has anything left. You know, how he stands in the corner, I believe I could tell if he has anything left. But what everybody wants to see is that first round. What does he have?
Yeah.
He can't wait.
And his opponent, Francis Hogan.
Francis Hogan, he's not your boy toy. He's just a sexy boy. Coming out to the Shawn Michaels theme. You love to see it. Francis Hogan, 17-0, 15 of those wins by knockout. I mean, sky's the limit for Hogan. 5 foot, a 6'2" southpaw with knockout power is always going to have opportunities in this sport. And Hogan has linked up with Jimmy Birchfield over the last couple of years. He's been with CES since 2022, and since then he's 7-0. He too competed for TCL. That did not go as well for him. He actually suffered a very bad knockout loss to Money Powell IV, but he's bounced back since then with a knockout win in the pro ranks in September against Heber Rondon. So you wonder if the TCL experience may have showed some flaws and maybe things for him to work on in camp against a higher level competitive fighter. But in any event tonight, he's got a very interesting passing of the torch, perhaps, opportunity. Let's send it to Pat Sullivan, who's going to have our official introductions.
This bout is 6 rounds in the middleweight division. Fighting out of the blue corner, he comes to the ring from planet Earth with a professional record of 29 wins, 13 defeats, and 1 draw with 13 big knockouts. This former world title challenger weighed in at 159 pounds. Please welcome Elvin the Lycan Ayala. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, hailing from Weymouth, Massachusetts, with a perfect record of 17 wins, no defeats, with 15 of those wins coming by way of knockout. He weighed in at 159 pounds and is the reigning WBC USA Silver Middleweight Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, Francis Frank the Tank Hogan!
You had your instructions in the dressing room. Right here is good. Right here is good. Obey my commands. Protect yourself at all times. Good luck.
Melissa Kelly presiding over the action here tonight between Elvin Ayala in the white trunks and Francis Hogan in the blue and yellow. Francis Hogan has that color pattern from those Boston Red Sox Boston Marathon jerseys that you see a lot when they play at Fenway Park. And again, we're going to see early on what Ayala has left in the tank, and you could go on for days with Ayala's resume. He was a very big proponent of the boxing revival here in New England. He started his pro career at 16-0, parlayed that into a big opportunity against David Banks, a world title shot against Arthur Abraham. He had a showdown with Sergio Mora, and then after those fights, had another revival right around 2009. He linked up with manager Massimo Ligori, who had always been a friend, and Massimo Ligori brought him into that New Haven family, and he became a huge draw in the Connecticut area. Foxwoods, Mohegan Sun. He became a headliner-type fighter, and then parlayed that into more opportunities. He was at the time training with Peter Manfredo Sr. He had switched up camps from Luis Rosa. So he has gone through, I feel like, a man of 3 careers in many ways. Like, he's had different levels along the way, but he's had some big-time fights, Ray. He's fought, we mentioned Arthur Abraham and Sergio Mora. He's fought Alantez Fox, Vaughn Alexander, Junior Castillo, the late Patrick Day. I mean, he's been there with a lot of guys, and the best way to describe it, it's experience.
Does he have anything left?
That's the question.
We keep talking about Ayala. He has something to prove. I think Hogan got more to prove. Like you said, he got dropped in the 1-round fight.
He did.
That's on his mind. That's on everybody's mind. We all seen it. So he has something to prove today. If I take this guy out, I ain't never left. I just had a bump in the road, and I'm here. So everyone got that droppage he had that he got dropped in. So I believe he has more to prove than Ayala. Ayala already proved everything. I'm the old man coming out here. I just got to last 8 rounds.
No, you're absolutely right. All the pressure's on Frank Hogan. He's supposed to win this fight.
Yes.
Ayala, to some people, has no business being in the ring with Francis Hogan. And I don't agree with that sentiment, but he doesn't have anything to lose. Like you said, he's 43. If he loses, goes back into retirement.
Yes.
Like it never happened. Hogan cannot afford a loss here against a veteran like Elvin Ayala. That, to me, would be a step down and knock him down a peg. And I think that TCL format, it served as a great reminder to some fighters just about preparation. You didn't really have a lot of time. You didn't know who you were fighting on most nights. And you were in matchups that you may not typically take in a 6 or 8 round fight.
Yes.
And, Francis Hogan would not go in the ring with a Money Powell IV without there being a lot more, circumstance behind it, right? But a one-round format, you go in there and you do what you have to do. That's the TCL format.
You don't pick your fights.
You don't pick your fights.
They pick them for you.
They pick them for you. And I don't want to use the word expose. I think that's a little bit harsh.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes you may see a chink in the armor at times from different fighters in that format, and maybe that was one for Francis Hogan. And if anything, you turn it into a blessing and use it as a wake-up call.
When it first happened, that's exactly what I said, that these fighters that we have, I don't know I wanted to put them in because we're going to see some of their flaws. And when they come back to regular boxing, is it going to be out there? We don't want to see their flaws. We saw Hogan get hit, so everybody's asking, does he have a chin?
Right.
Yes,
well,
he has a chin.
I will say this as we go into round number 2. We have one round of the books. I would say Elvin's footing looks better than it did in that TCL bout.
To you. Not to me.
So you're seeing the same thing?
I've seen something different. I saw him still picking up his lead foot like he wants to kick. Is that his style? I don't remember watching him doing that.
It goes so far back that I don't recall that. Now, I thought when we saw those TCL fights against Ray Robinson, that was a totally different Elvin Ayala than I had seen before. And in my mind, in your mind, we thought nothing left in the legs. I thought maybe he looked a little bit better. I think I'm being a little bit more generous than you are probably there.
No, he looked a little bit better than he did in those fights. But he's still picking up that lead foot, which is, to me, why? Why? With a guy with your experience, no one has seen you pick up that lead foot. Like,
is there something else to that mentally?
Watch his lead foot. He picks it up with like he's going to kick something.
And it's not hard to see because he has different colored shoes on as well.
Yeah.
So he's got the black shoes and the red shoes.
And he's leaning on his back leg, which Hogan would love. You lean on you're putting your power on your back leg? Why? Even off your power.
I mean, I would expect Ayala to be more on the defensive than Hogan. I mean, he's been an offensive fighter, more closer toward his prime. Hogan, obviously, in the prime of his career at 25. You expect Hogan to come forward. But right to the rib cage, and Ayala crumples to the canvas.
His leg. His leg, like I said.
And there he is. Now he's limping as he gets up. And this Melissa Kelly's on a call time here. Ray, I think you may be right on the money. He took a shot to the rib cage, and his leg just gave way, that back leg.
I said he's putting more of the weight on the back leg. Why is he kicking his front leg?
Once again, Ray Oliveira calls it. Here is a replay, Ray. Let's see if we can see what happens here. Just kind of bent that ankle backward. The impact of the shot and the footwork. And now you got the ringside physician coming in and checking out Ayala's ankle. And I don't know, Ray, this may be ending abruptly. If he can't walk on it, he can't fight. I think a combination of things just played a factor. Hogan landed a nice shot to the body, right to the ribcage area, and they got to call it. That's it. Melissa Kelly waves it off. The ringside physician says no go. Francis Hogan gets the knockout victory over Elvin Ayala, who, by all accounts of what we've seen, at least from our vantage point, is forced to retire due to injury.
Yeah.
You said it, Ray. I mean, here it is again, another angle.
I can see, I kept saying he's picking up his front leg. He's putting weight all on his back leg. When he got hit, I didn't see nothing happen, but he couldn't hold the power on that leg. His weight, on that leg. He didn't twist his ankle. He didn't twist his knee. His hip didn't turn. He just couldn't put the power on that back leg. Boxing's done. As much as you love it, I love it too, but I ain't even hitting the heavy bag.
Unfortunately, it may be the end of what's been a brilliant career for Elvin Ayala, a well-traveled veteran who reached heights that few could say they've reached. Yes. And he's done it all in that ring, and it's unfortunate if this is the end for him. It's unfortunate to see him go out like that due to injury. But as you mentioned, Ray, we talked about father time and all those things. An unfortunate ending for Ayala, who needs help just getting back to the dressing room as the ringside physician's helping him make his way across. He can't put any weight on that back foot. And you saw it right away.
It's my opinion what I say. I'm not saying I'm always right.
Sure.
It's my opinion. Prove me wrong, I'm happy. When you prove me right, I'm still happy. Either way, I'm happy. But you know what? Prove me wrong, I'm happy. Prove me you're happy. I just think that I don't know. You got nothing to prove. You're a winner in life.
All right, let's send it back up to Pat Sullivan with the particulars.
Referee Melissa Kelly calls a stop to the fight in 44 seconds in round number 2 for your winner by TKO, Francis Hogan. All right, Francis, a.k.a. Frank the Tank. I tell you what, that was an opponent that came in here with a lot of experience, a former world title challenger, and you faced this challenge head on. Looked like you were in great shape, connecting on all your punches. How do you feel?
I mean, I feel great. I feel like I didn't really get to show what I could do and what we've been working on in the gym. I give it up to Elvin Ayala for getting in here. You know, it sucks. He hurt his knee, so they called the fight. But he's a great fighter, as you can see in that first round. I do want to say, I don't think there's anybody at 160 or 154 pounds that could get in the ring and bang with me. I'm definitely looking to step up and fight tougher and better opponents. I want to shout out Mark DeLuca right there for the camp and helping me train and get ready. I want to shout out Matty Ryan. He also helps me train and get ready. I want to say thank you to all the fans coming out. Sorry it ended the way it did, but on to the next. 18-0, 16 knockouts. Let's go, baby. And you already know, go fuck your mother. It's tank time.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner by TKO, Francis Hogan.
Once again, Francis Hogan improving to 18-0 with his 16th win by knockout. Evan Ayala suffering a leg injury in the early goings of the second round and is forced to retire. And with that being said, Francis Hogan, Ray, says he's ready to go to the next level. Do you think he's ready to make that step?
He's been ready.
Yeah.
The gentleman, young man, been ready. He says he's ready. So
let's
do
see
it.
Yeah. All right, don't go anywhere. Our co-main event coming up. Stay with us on The Zone.
Speedy Rashidi Ellis here. I think it's 24-1, from 25-1. I'm from Lynn, Massachusetts.
Mi nombre es Brian Damián Chávez, soy de Argentina.
I feel good, and you know the opponent got to show me what he's going to bring to the table. You know, I always win excitement to every fight that I go through. It's close to my city where I was born and raised, so he looks decent. He looks like he's a good fighter. He knows what he's doing in there, but not good enough.
Once again, welcome back to DAZN Boxing. Welcome back to the beautiful Oceanside Riviera, and welcome to CES Boxing's Halloween Knockout. Michael Parenti, Sucro Ray Oliveira bringing you all the action. We want to remind people to donate to the Joanne Sullivan Foundation. We'll show the QR code in a minute. But right now we're taking a look at what is to come in our, I said co-main event, I apologize. It's our main event tonight. Speedy Rashidi Ellis coming in at 24-1, making his official CES debut against Brian Damian Chavez. Well, let's send it to Pat Sullivan for the official introduction.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here at Oceanside in Revere, Massachusetts, it is time for your main event of the evening. Brought to you by Whalers Brewing Company. Let's meet the first fighter fighting out of the blue corner, Brian Damian Chavez.
Chavez, the second fighter coming in from Argentina tonight, 14-5, 5 of those wins by knockout, a 32-year-old southpaw. He stands at 6'0". He has lost his last few fights. They've all been by knockout, so Chavez trying to turn the fortune around a bit and maybe get in there and get some rounds and perhaps steal a victory. Now, he last fought in June. We saw him against Cordell Booker at Mohegan Sun. He lost by third-round knockout. Ray, what do you remember from that fight against Booker? What did you take away from that performance?
All I remember it was Booker. You know, sorry to say. But he's a good fighter.
Yeah.
He's quality fights on his record. He comes to fight. Booker was just a better, more explosive fighter that day. But today, he's the bigger fighter. Fighting Ayala. Speedy Ayala. He's the bigger fighter. And I want to see if Speedy's going to box him or stay there and bang with him.
And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, Rashidi Ellis.
Ellis is the centerpiece of these newest additions to the CES boxing roster. Huge record, 24-1 with 15 wins by knockout. He comes in from Lynn, Massachusetts, part of a trio of fighting Ellises, if you will. His sister Rashida, his older brother Ronald Ellis was a very good pro. He started his career locally in 2013. At one point, he was 21 years old. He packed his bags. He went overseas and fought 10 times to build up his record and then signed long-term with Golden Boy Promotions. And he's had some setbacks in his career. He has looked at it as bad luck. He's had some setbacks. He's had some fights that fell through. opportunities that didn't go his way. And just that one loss on his record, he still has the opportunity to make that climb, and he feels that joining the CES Boxing stable is what can get him to that next level and get him that long-awaited world title shot. And we'll see how that goes. Take a look at our tail of the tape here. Evenly matched, at least on paper, when you look at the age difference and the height, but certainly Rashidi Ellis brings a much bigger resume to the table in this main event bout. And with that said, we're about ready to get down to the action. We're going to send it back to our ring announcer, Patrick Sullivan, who officially introduced both fighters.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event of the evening. 8 rounds in the junior middleweight division, sponsored by Whalers Brewing Company. Fighting out of the blue corner, hailing from Buenos Aires, Argentina, with a professional record of 14 wins, only 5 losses, with 5 wins coming by way of knockout. He weighed in at 154 pounds, Brian Damian Chavez. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, hailing from the city of Sin, Lynn, Massachusetts, with a professional record of 24 wins, only 1 defeat, with 15 big wins coming by way of knockout. He is the former WBC International and IBF North American champion. He is the Savage with a smile. Ladies and gentlemen, Speedy Rashidi Ellis!
Right here. Gentlemen, moving over the rules. Señores, le di las reglas en el camarino. Protect yourself at all time, protégete a todo el tiempo. If I say stop, please stop. Si digo para, por favor. Okay? I'm going to set up the bell line. Everything above here is good. Everything above here is good. Touch him up. All right? Good luck to both of you. Buenas.
8-round main event. Ellis for Brian Damian Chavez.
So after winning the Most Entertaining Fighter Award in Season 2 of Team Combat League, Rashidi Ellis now joins the CES stable along with Mike Fontanez and Joe Bush, who you all saw tonight. Mike Fontanez actually escorting Ellis to the ring, still in his boxing gear for this fight earlier tonight. Now listen, Ellis said before this fight, he feels like he's kind of been forgotten about in a sense. He had a couple of years off. He had some issues with his promotion with Premier Boxing Championships. He was finally granted his release and became a free agent and is still on the market, still readily active, and ready to go at 31 years old. It's by far not anywhere near the end of his prime run. I think there's still a lot left in the tank for Ellis, and a couple of wins could get him right back into the title picture.
Ellis, I agree with him. He is forgotten. He hasn't fought here since 2014.
That's right. And it's hard to keep that fan base when you haven't been active in your home city.
You've been active fighting, but you got to fight locally. You got to stay locally. Who taught me that? Vinny Paz.
2 big right hands there by Ellis.
Vinny Paz taught me, stay locally, build your crowd up, and then they would travel with you. And I'm happy he's back now, but let's see him stay here, stay fighting home, build your crowd back up, and you won't be forgotten. Your name will be back in there.
Having CS in his corner can give him those opportunities to stay home, fight local, and still rack up wins and championships, and perhaps get that elusive world title opportunity that he's been waiting for.
Yes. He has the talent.
Absolutely. He's got the backing now. He's got the Alex Rivera team, Rivera Boxing, in his corner. They've been with him from the beginning. And he said he wants a shot at Brian Norman Jr. He's the interim world welterweight champion. Right now he's fighting at 54 tonight as he starts to bring some of the heat to Chavez.
This is what I wanted to see out of Rashidi. I wanted to see him sit down and use his speed, not just run around like a rabbit and and run and punch. No, sit down. This young man can hit, and if he puts his power behind that speed, which he's doing today, no one is stopping him.
Some big wins on Ellis's resume include Eddie Gomez in 2019. That was for the IBF North American title at 147 pounds, and also beat Alex Roca, who was 16-0 at the time. That fight gave him the WBC Intercontinental title. So he's had a couple of minor belts. Hasn't had that shot at the big one. He was on his way in 2023, lost to Romain Villa. Close fight, didn't get the decision, and that set him back a bit, and now he's looking to get back in the win column and just be active. Just be, like you said, Ray, be more active, be local, build that following back up, and get to the next level.
I mean, his following that he had was in the amateurs.
Yeah.
He didn't build no following in the pros because he fought everywhere else but here. And, you know, yes, he was with De La Hoya, but I'm sure he could have got fights here.
Flurry of punches by Ellis, and Chavez wisely takes a knee. Whether he continues, we'll see. He's nodding his head. He's got his gloves up. Looks like he's ready to go. I think maybe Chavez just wanted a break, to be perfectly honest. He was starting to get peppered in the corner, and why not take a knee, take your 8 count, show the referee you're okay, and get back in there. So 10 seconds to go in round 1, and he wisely does it right toward the end of the round as well. So doesn't give Ellis much time to finish the job, and there is the bell for round number 1. So Chavez, a little veteran gamesmanship there, but a great round for Rashidi Ellis.
It was a beautiful round for Rashidi Ellis. You know, he changed his game plan. He sat down.
Yeah.
He's not jumping on his feet. He's sitting with his power and still letting his speed work with them hands. Triple, double, right hands. He just got to come back with that left hook.
You look at the concentration and the flurry of punches. Ellis is a guy that truly will let his hands go. He'll showboat a little bit to give the crowd what they came to see. He'll always be active, and that's the biggest thing. Round number 2 about to get underway here.
I always say fighters should showboat after the fight's done. When the fight's going on, don't showboat. And well, Ray, you did it. What, smiling? That's not showboating, smiling.
Well, that's what you tell me. You do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, exactly.
My parents told me that for many years.
Yes.
All right, this one's scheduled for 8. Round number 2 about to get underway between Rashidi Ellis in the purple and neon green trunks, and Brian Chavez in the purple trunks. Ellis already ready to go before the referee even rings the bell.
He's going to check that right eye.
Yeah.
Got hit with a punch. He's probably complaining it was the thumb. Exactly what he said.
Ringside
He's
position.
saying his thumb
Yeah.
hitting to his eye.
Ringside position, checking him out. He gives him a go, so Chavez will continue for as long as he's able to hang in there with Ellis. Ellis, of course, you know, wants to send this crowd home on a big positive note and end the show in style, kind of the proverbial walk-off home run of boxing, if you will. And by the way, Ellis did a lot of that in Team Combat League. He was typically stacked toward the end of the final 8 rounds where he could get a decisive win that put Boston in the lead or helped Boston cement his victory. And he was kind of a closer for the Butchers in that sense.
They used him the right way. They definitely did.
2:28 here into round number 2. Chavez trying to take his opportunities to get a little breather here. Ellis has been coming out rapid fire this whole fight.
I like I said, Alice, he's not bouncing. He's sitting, letting the fighter come to him, or he's going after him and just letting those hands go. And he's letting him go one while his opponent throws. See, while he throws, he's throwing with him.
Ellis having a little fun in there. I don't think I've ever seen you do that.
No.
150 to go in round number 2. Again, we're scheduled for 8. Michael Parenti and Sucre Ray Oliveira bringing you all the action on the zone. It's Halloween Knockout by CES Boxing.
See, he's too worrying right now about showboating. Just let them hands go. There you go.
There it is. Ellis working to the body, back upstairs, changing levels on Chavez, who's just trying his best to cover up and spin out of the way. Chavez throwing a few shots back of his own.
Ellis better learn to cover up, too. Might sneak one of those left hooks in there.
You got to watch out with some of these crafty veterans. You know, they know the inside game, and they know what to do and how to, I don't want to say exploit the system, but they know the little nuances that can throw a fighter off balance. Yeah, all the tricks, exactly. And that's a big deal.
He's letting his hands go, but while he's letting his hands go, he's not bringing them back to his face. He's dropping them. So all his opponent got to do is throw one of them left hooks and catch him on the button.
I think, and I could be wrong, I think Ellis saw what he needed to see in round 1 and will try to take his time to get the perfect opportunity to perhaps finish the fight. I think Ellis.
He wants a special stoppage.
Sure, he sure does, and you know he's confident coming in that first round. I'm sure has raised the confidence level to new heights.
Basically, he is in a different level, you know, and we want to see that showcase today.
We mentioned Ellis 11-1 with TCL this year. It's a phenomenal record, and it's so hard to do that when you only fight one round.
Yeah.
And you don't know who you're going in with. Sometimes even that day, things change quickly in TCL. I mean, Ellis did a great job, and it was just the perfect format for him. And I think CS fell in love with him in that platform. He fell in love with CS, and it's this match made in heaven, if you will. 2 rounds in the books here. Rashidi Ellis has been in control of the pace. Alex Rivera giving some instructions in the corner. And again, Ellis, the goal is to get back to the top. He's 24-1. Take a look at some of the action here from round number 2.
You see here, he's sitting, he doubles, triples up that right hand, but he's throwing it hard, but he's not putting his hip into it. If he puts the hip into it, the round's over, it's done. Matter of fact, the fight is done, I believe.
That's it. As we saw the replays, referee in ringside position wave it off.
He's saying his right hand.
And it appears that Chavez has suffered, as you said, Ray, an injury of some sort. Perhaps it's the hand. We know the eye was an issue after round 1, but in any event, Rashidi Ellis has won by knockout, and he is going to improve to 25-1. A bit of an anticlimactic ending, if you will. However, Rashidi Ellis goes in there, does what he has to do. You get paid to get the victory.
A win's a win. It goes down as a stoppage, referee stoppage, and it's still a win. It doesn't say by injury. It says win by referee stoppage. Rashidi Ellis looked good for 2 rounds. He was sitting down, showing everybody he's back. We just got to see him fight more locally and stay busy.
As they say in baseball, everything looks like a line drive in the box score, right? But you never know what happens once that bell rings. And Rashidi Ellis delivering on his promise to get the victory here tonight. And the beginning of perhaps what should be a special relationship with CES Boxing and an opportunity for him to get back to the top of the ladder where he has been earlier in his career. We talked about Elvin Ayala having 2 different careers. Perhaps this is almost like a rebirth of sorts for Ellis under a new promotion.
Yes, definitely. He needed a rebirth. He was dying and hoping to get away from De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions. He got away from there. He just got to stay. Now he just got to do the thing and stay busy, stay locally, stop this traveling overseas and fighting. No one's seeing you.
Yeah.
It's not on TV. You want your hometown. Bring your hometown with you. That's what puts money in your pocket. Your hometown, not nobody else.
All right, let's send it back to Pat Sullivan with the particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, the referee calls a stop to the fight at 3 minutes of round number 2 for your winner by TKO, the Savage with a smile, Speedy Rashidi Ellis. All right, Oceanside. Everyone watching at home live on DAZN, I'm here with the winner in the main event, Speedy Rashidi. I tell you, it's been a couple years since you last fought in an actual bout here in this ring. It doesn't look like there was any time wasted, no ring rush. You looked as sharp as you ever have in your career. It looked like you were ready for this moment. You capitalized.
Yes, first I got to thank God, thank CES for this opportunity in the zone. But yeah, like you said, I'm always in the gym though, so it's like walking in the park for me. This is what I do.
So from nearby Lynn, Massachusetts, fighting here in Revere, you had a lot of support. This place was rocking when you came out here and you took that stage. What's that support like?
Oh, yeah, I can't even explain it. I love all my people.
And you haven't fought here in this area in a long, long time. You fought all over the country. This is a homecoming right now. But I have a feeling, looking at your team, looking at Jimmy Birchfield, that this is going to catapult you to the next level, and the future of boxing is yours.
Of course, I'm coming back. You know, I took a long layoff, but, you know, I'm back. I'm ready to take over. You know, everybody in the welterweight division, you know I'm coming. I'm taking all them belts. They already know that.
Now, I know that you will fight anybody. Your coach has said that you will fight a moving truck if that's what they ask you to go against. But are there any names? Are there any names that you want to call out right here?
Oh, all the champions, Boots, Norman, definitely Norman because his pops was talking a lot of shit. I'm gonna whoop his ass. Shit, who else? Everybody, whoever got the belt.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, your winner by TKO, Speedy Rashidi Ellis.
So there you have it. Rashidi Ellis improving to 25-1 with the win by second round knockout over Brian Chavez in our main event tonight. Calling out Jaron Enos, others on that list who are at the top of the ladder now. Ellis has been floating between 147 and 154. You know, he really had his most success at 47, and I'm sure could still fight there if he chose to. And really, when you think about it, with his ability to have the power at 54, the power at 47, he's got a lot of opportunities ahead of him.
I like to see him at 54.
Yeah.
You know, I think he'd be great there with his speed and movement. I think it'd be great, and it's a much quicker way for a title, honestly.
Well, it's been an amazing night of action here at the Oceanside of Rivera. We'll take a look back at some of the highlights from tonight's action. Mike Fontanez got his first win in his CES debut.
Yep.
Joe Bush did the same. Rashidi Ellis did the same. Besides Rashidi Ellis, who else stood out to you the most tonight?
All the fights, honestly. You know, no one stood out today. Everyone came out and did what they're supposed to do. I'm happy that they gave their liking for CES. They got presented on the Zone.
Yep.
You know, it's a beautiful night today, not just for CES, but the Zone and everyone else.
But I want to thank our audience on DAZN Boxing. Some of you who are listening to us and joining us for the first time, welcome aboard. We hope to see more of you in the future, and hopefully you get a greater glimpse of CES Boxing down the road. For Suco Ray Oliveira, I'm Mike Prenzi. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time at the fights.